Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. What's up, DB?
My back hurts.
Oh, what'd you do?
I don't know. No, I let the dog sleep between my legs, I think.
Oh, yeah. So you gotta watch out, man.
Well, he was breathing weird, so
Yeah.
I felt like he hit a soft spot. So I was just like, okay, you can stay. I'll adjust.
Which one, Biggie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his throat was just dry.
Gotta watch out, man.
Yeah. I may have went like one capful too many on his...
On the food? His little full?
The mouthwash stuff that I put in his their water deal.
Gotcha.
Yes, I give my dogs mouthwash.
Hey, you got to keep their teeth clean. That's a danger spot for them.
100%.
People don't really think about it.
100%.
I had a dog get a tooth abscess once. It was rough.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expensive, too.
And I let Zoe pick out their coat spray yesterday at the pet store. So guess what the pet spray smells like?
Rainbows and butterflies.
Well, berries. And I was like, no, I don't want the dogs to smell like berries. So she gave me this long look, and in my head, I'm like, okay, I'll let her, because she did go to the store with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll let her pick it out. Yeah, beef. It's like mint.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's the worst.
Yeah, should have gone with the berries, man. What are you doing?
Made a deal with the devil. My dog's walking around smelling like scope. Like, let's hang out. No, so no, man, it's a little tender. I'm gonna figure it out. If I look a little weird on screen, it's not just my abnormally shaped big head. It's my back hurts.
It's got the back hurting.
Yeah, I need to talk to the boss. She's got to stop using this picture too on her graphics. It sucks.
I think you need to go in for another photo shoot. I think you got to refresh those.
Like in front of the camera?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, I mean, that's how you get different pictures, DB. I don't know if you know this.
That thing wet.
Here we go.
I'm just, like if you don't like the current pictures.
Wait, is that how I change the pictures?
You get new pictures. But in order to get new pictures, there has to be a camera involved at some point.
We don't have any painters, any sketch artists.
I mean,
I made one of those soon. Well, what'd the perpetrator look
I
like?
feel like that may have been a murder threat.
Did you get a good look at him?
Yeah,
We're gonna absolutely murder you.
Sit next to him for 3 hours every day. Yeah, I got a pretty good look at him.
Nope. One high, man. You could put 8 in the box if you want to, Shane.
We will absolutely murder you.
That was very emphatic.
It was.
We're gonna absolutely murder you.
That's one of those that's like, yeah, go one high against Dylan. I dare you.
Oh.
I mean, really, that's what he's saying, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Because you get away with it last year.
see if these fellas can't play catch.
I think they might be able to. We'll see.
That thing wet.
We will see.
It's going to be a weird year too, isn't it?
For what?
Nebraska's expectations. I feel like they're pretty lofty.
I don't know.
What?
I mean, they're lofty in comparison to what they've been, but
No, I'm not going full-fledged tucking here. I'm just saying.
in general, I think they are reasonable expectations.
Reasonable.
I'm a very reasonable guy. You know this, DB.
Yeah.
I never get out of pocket. I stay right here in my lane.
100%.
Listen. What do you think the expectations actually are?
I think the expectations are a bowl game, and I get the sense that it shouldn't probably be by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, I think 7 is the expectation.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
I could be wrong.
I think if
It feels like 8.
my personal expectation, not expectation, I think they'll
Your
get
personal
to 8.
prediction.
Yeah, I think they'll get to 8, but my expectation and prediction are a little different.
Yeah, I wanted to go
As long as they get to 6, I'm fine.
the Clubber Lang reference, but doesn't appear to me that you remember anything or have seen Rocky 3. I think we talked about.
No,
this
I've seen all the Rockies. I'm a big Rocky guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I was thinking about another
co-host.
You thought I was tough? This chump will kill you.
I wasn't gonna say co-host, but yes,
Co-worker.
Someone of similar ilk.
You mean we kind of have similar skin?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
So severe.
No,
Who else has similar skin color?
maybe I was talking to another Indian guy, but I don't know that many. So
I'll say
it had to have been you.
who on earth would that have been?
Well, I'm not that sheltered. Thanks. Wow. I know people.
Do you know a single other Indian person?
I don't want to speculate, but I think so. What?
What do you mean you don't want to speculate?
Because I don't want to throw that on them and then have me be incorrect.
You're just like eyeballing them?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go through all the people that we think
probably not
look Indian today.
Why are you always trying to get me in trouble?
Coming up on the show, we've got Tim Verghese, unrelated, from inside Nebraska at 8 a.m. We've got Mike Sautter at 9, and we've got Vrzal at 9:45. Definitively not Indian in the 9 o'clock hour.
It's a little ambiguous. All right. Always trying to walk me into those.
You doing all right?
I don't even recognize what we're doing.
You doing all right?
It's fine.
We had a big day yesterday. Do you want to start locally with us being right, or do you want to start nationally with a very bizarre storyline from the NBA draft? And I'm not talking about Bronny.
I'm so sick of that.
Yeah, I don't care.
I am so sick of that.
It's dumb, whatever. You knew they were going to do it. I don't care.
So I'm so childish. I went through several father-son execs tandems in the NBA. And I told my buddy Aaron, who, by the way, what was he doing up last night? I got to see what time he hit me with that. Degenerate hit me. Oh, it wasn't that late because I did put my phone up. He hit me at, it was only 8:26.
Oh,
I wonder,
that's reasonable.
Yeah, that was way reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't know how. No. There was one after that, 10:10.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It felt later.
Yeah, but I didn't look at it until like 12:20.
What
time did I send yours?
Which one? The Tapu one?
The recruiting one.
Let me see. 2:47 in the AM. I responded at 5:41.
I'm like, shoot, man. This dude's wife's out of town. He's probably finally getting some good sleep. He's going to be like, this idiot. But I do remember you greenlit me. You said
it doesn't wake me up. I don't keep my ringer on.
Yeah.
So it doesn't wake me up.
So sometimes, like with Coach like I send him stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I put it in my drafts. Mm-hmm. So it alerts me that I have to send it because I send him something every day almost.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to send it too early.
Sure.
And I know he gets up early.
Yeah, I don't.
Usually it's about him being a bad coworker. Almost every day.
I've never understood the people that get waken up by text messages.
Yeah.
Is
that a thing? Shane, he pulled a you. He said, I don't understand people that get waken up. Is that correct?
Woken up? It might be woken up.
I know you're woke. Are you up? Hello?
Am I woke in?
You asked me the same question.
Let's see.
You talk about a word that has lost its meaning.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, waken is a real word.
No, I know that.
I don't know if I used it correctly.
Probably not. I know Jamie does math. We got some grammar people. Oh, ask TK. He knows everything. Grammar police. Is it waken or woken in the context I just used? By the way, did you see Ken's floor and ceiling? No. So, what was I thinking? This has been going on for a long time.
Which part?
How many jobs has younger Bickerstaff had?
Oh, 1 million.
Okay.
Paul Silas Jr.
There's
million. Pick one.
Yeah, there's a ton.
I mean, who was the old?
So I didn't let it.
Who was the old GM for the White Sox?
Oh,
Williams.
Oh, the main guy, black guy with the mustache.
Yeah. It was something Williams, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
So he had this son that played for Wichita State that was trash, and he drafted him like 30 rounds early.
Yeah,
like this happens all the time. Now, Bronny's not good. Like he shouldn't.
And that's the thing.
Yeah,
like, is that the hardest thing? Is it simple but not easy to get around?
Yeah, he's just not he shouldn't have been drafted.
Yeah, that guy went before McCullers Jr. No, actually he didn't. I think McCullers Jr. went
right before.
Right before.
He went in the same range as an actual good basketball player.
Yeah. Or who's your boy that you were fawning over in Bristol? The shooter, the one that Creighton guards exceptionally
Spencer.
Well. Yeah.
Cam Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was fawning over him.
Kinda. Like Bambi.
Well,
Yep.
little baby deer.
Yep.
I
Yes.
thought that's the guy I thought that Ashworth guarded super well when they beat him in Omaha.
Uh-huh.
I thought he did a really good job.
Uh-huh.
He did.
Yeah, we talked about. Yeah. I remember you. You were unusually giddy over explaining the sequence of defensive exchanges.
I thought it was really impressive.
That was one of the weird things. I was like, why is he so happy about that? I
'cause
felt like he's having a
They
moment.
beat the number one team in the country. That was pretty cool. I wasn't mad about it. That was pretty cool, man.
Oh, I need to read more.
Yeah, you do. You miss out on all sorts of deal.
It's not true. Did you see what was tweeted out on the Hurrdat Sports deal yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, free kids meal with the purchase of an entree.
Oh, I was talking about the cool documentary that they put out.
Oh yeah, that is legit. So my favorite thing about that, I did jinx Harper, by the way. He got hurt yesterday.
Good work.
Actually, the guy that complains about something every day on the show before us is who I blame.
Oh, Costello?
Yeah,
Pat?
yeah. What's the name of that segment again? I listen to
I'm
it
fed
every
up.
day. Yeah.
Oh, I'm over it. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, that's why they don't like him. Look at his pretty hair. Look at old Bryce Harper's pretty hair. That full beard. I'm just kidding, but not really.
Okay. What's happening?
No idea.
Okay.
I like turtles.
Me too.
Turtles are cool. Listen.
I like the raw emotion.
Yes.
Like of him, like really capturing real time authenticity when it's like the 30th pick and you're just not sure.
Yeah.
And he's like,
you could see like the moment where he like closes his eyes.
Man.
That like relief.
I'm with that.
You know, like that was I got goosebumps.
Me too.
Honestly.
So full disclosure, I did too.
Because everybody just exclaims around him. He just sits there for an extra beat, like closes his eyes.
He's like, let me soak this in.
And you could see the relief. You could also see like the joy. It was a super cool moment. That thing was cool. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the Baylor. It's called Becoming Baylor. It's on all the Hurrdat Sports socials. Really, really cool behind the scenes look. And also, like, how about the coach in the first 30 seconds being like, I don't know what he's like at your level, but here is Larry Bird. Yeah. And he ends up going to the Celtics. Yep. Like, that interview, behind the scenes.
Can't draw it up.
That interview happened like 2 weeks before the draft.
Right.
Like, that was not.
It was just a cool deal.
Yeah, it was just really a kind of serendipitous coincidence there.
Whoa.
What?
You couldn't use Waken correctly, but you can say serendipitous coincidence and just let it roll off the old palate.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I mean,
Must be Friday.
I'm a little spicy today.
I can tell. I feel like I'm kind of like I'm feeling my way along, but I'll be better today. I'll be a little more Pernell Whitaker than I have been this week.
You gonna punch back a little bit?
I just feel like I should move a little bit.
You gotta move your head too.
Yeah, I was getting caught along the ropes this week. I gotta give you a little more head movement. I feel like I'll be better today.
Yeah, that's fair.
Be
enough.
very cognizant about not throwing lures in the water.
You go fishing with T.O. like our recruit did?
Yeah. Remember that kind of used to be a thing? Hey, let's get him out on the boat. Let's go fish. And be like, oh, that's a cool way to connect with recruits. I think even Frost did that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's not for me.
Okay, I'm talking about if you like to fish.
Oh, yeah. I like boats.
Fishing's great.
Hello, friends.
It'd be like them coming and be like, hey, let's go camping for your recruiting visit. I was like, what about that 5-star hotel down the street? That seems like more my deal. It's like, oh, are we sleeping outside for road games? Because if so,
Harbaugh was having slumber parties. You can't conform. You think he's a good coach?
I do think he's a good coach. I didn't say I want to play for him. It's a difference.
Right.
Good at what he does, not for me.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
I'm just saying, some dude shows up to. I'd rather him show up to my living room than be like, hey, yeah, let's go camping.
So how do you think they got our guy back into the fray?
Tapu?
By the way, we probably ought to go back and replay that segment. That's a good segment.
Yeah, we kind of called our shot there a little bit.
Yeah, I was a little reluctant, but I liked it.
We didn't know anything.
I didn't.
I didn't. In terms of like actually what was happening with Brian Tapu, which if you haven't heard, it happened kind of late last night. He committed to
that was Degenerates. That was his text
at 10:10.
Yeah, he goes.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
Yeah, he goes. That didn't take long.
He gave him a full 20.
I think that's about what he's. Yeah, it didn't take long for Tapu.
He gave him the full 24-hour courtesy day after the decommit.
And I seriously don't think this is just one of those things where I'm like using. Remember, kind of how I walked you through the merit thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of deductive reasoning. Which, by the way, never mind. Let me just get to one thing.
One at a time.
I don't think this is a flake thing. I think this is I think this is I took a couple days to ponder a decision, which is what a lot of us should probably do more.
100%.
Right? Like
What I tell you the other day?
Take a moment to pause.
What did I tell you the other day? We were not loving something, and I was like, let's just wait 48 hours and see how we feel.
Wait, what was that?
Oh, it was a couple weeks ago. We were frustrated about something. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, let's just wait 48 hours, see how we feel.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like, it's like,
I have to do that a lot more than.
Well, but it's a good thing for anybody to do.
Just because of my initial.
Yeah, you kind of have you have this visceral reaction where you're just like, I don't love how that. It's like we talked about yesterday, right?
Plus, I have so many experiences, so I immediately slot the information I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I put it in this range of
which is not always
things that have happened to me, is
not always fair to the new situation.
100. That's the thing,
right?
Yep.
So I understand because I think a lot of people do that. They try and put it in context of something else they understand that's already happened to them, but a lot of times it is different, right? So sometimes you take that 48 hours.
The giving the new thing or them a chance
yes.
is the key thing,
right? 100%. And so I think there's.
So I can listen to people that I don't particularly find appealing.
It's with Tapu. We said this yesterday. I go, it felt like he made an emotional decision on a visit, right? Because anybody worth their salt can kind of create that moment in a visit if they want to, right?
Yeah, especially if you have family there.
Yes, if you're geared up and ready to go, and you're like, oh yeah, this is great.
It's the exact opposite of what we weren't originally happy with Dylan for.
Yes.
Your uncle's here.
Yeah.
It's family.
We're like, hey man, pull the trigger. Let's go.
You
know how long he sat on that? How long that Nebraska thing ruminated with him?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For a year at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why people go, oh, it seems flaky. He goes from Ohio State to Georgia to Nebraska. It's like, okay, but look at the timelines.
And the only thing that I knew ahead of time is I knew that he had family up there.
Yeah.
Right? His uncle is a physician there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was full disclosure. But making the decision of what I thought was going to happen and I said it out loud. I said it in Benning Bites. I went with process of elimination by what I know about Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the one of the three that you gave me, which was Merritt. Because the question was, which one is most likely to end up being a Husker?
Yeah, Merritt, Latif, or Tapu.
Yeah. And
we both said Tapu.
The fewest amount of variables.
Despite the fact that Latif was actually committed at the time.
Yeah. Who was that yesterday? Was it Brunts or BC the day before that creatively said, oh, just say yes and when the question's asked.
Brunts. That was Brunts yesterday. Yeah.
His delivery
made
that seem extremely funny.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Hey, how you feeling about said what? Firmly you in?
Yep.
Well, that's not what you said.
I don't want to talk about it.
But why?
It's he had maybe just seen the Jim Schlossnagle interview and not realized it's not how you should handle things.
Who's going to draw the ire more of the next calendar year? Alberts, Schlossnagle, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders.
Oh, definitely Deion. 100% Deion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Schlossnagle thing I'll get over probably in a few days.
But that was one of your more famous rants about the media because on 3 separate, go back and listen.
Oh, yeah.
You said AF,
yeah,
a-hole, and almost another cuss word. And I was like, I think he feels some type of way.
No, it makes me super mad. The thing that
you went repeatedly with the Ryan Leaf knock it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's mad.
Yeah, that when people do that, it makes me incredibly mad.
Yeah.
Because it's
not the media's fault.
Well, it's so obviously disingenuous.
Yeah.
They know, you know what you're getting into when you take these high profile jobs.
Mm-hmm.
He knew it was out there because apparently he took the job a month earlier. Like you get mad because somebody found you out.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. That's how crazy people act.
So Sloss will wear off.
Sloss will wear off because I don't care about Texas A&M baseball that much.
And
Trev probably won't be in my sight lines a ton. Like
but you rarely pass up the opportunity.
Oh, like when I get a shot, I'm gonna take it. You know,
Everybody.
What do I look like here? I'm not Mother Teresa. I can't be held to that kind of standard.
Wait,
but just because I'm Indian doesn't mean I'm Mother Teresa. There's a lot of Indian people that I am actually not. Gandhi, also not me.
A lot of the great ones don't have a whole lot of hobbies.
There's even
I'm embarrassed that was the first thing that gave me pause. I am a child.
A little bit, yeah.
Is it Calcutta Joe? No.
I've actually never been to Calcutta. That's on the other side of the country. My people are from kind of the eastern side.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
You need a minute?
I didn't say Mother Teresa. You did.
You know, there's.
You could have went with like Desmond Tutu.
I don't want to. I don't like go do blackface or anything here. Like I don't want to get in trouble. Can you do blackface on the radio? I don't think that's the thing.
Oh.
Although we are on YouTube, so maybe.
I don't even recognize what we're doing.
This is my natural skin color, if anybody's wondering. Although I'm a little tanner than normal. See, look how tan I get with the watch band. You see that? You see that with my Fitbit band? Like I'm real pale under there. You see that? Like look how pale that gets.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
You all right?
Mm-hmm.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
You seem like you're struggling a little bit.
We're good.
Was it Mother Teresa or was it the tutu?
Oh, I don't know.
Man, there's some reports that Mother Teresa may not have actually been like that cool.
Oh, I know.
Like
but it's hard to trust now what you read. I mean, there's some weird stuff out here.
But like she may have been a tough hang.
Wow. Oh,
I'm Indian, so I can say that. We will be back. Jay's got thoughts on LeBron. I can't wait. At some point, we have to talk about Kyle Filipowski maybe being part of a cult. Who knows? I don't know. Pretty good basketball player, though. That's Hurrdat Sports Radio. We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla on the Pillar Exterior stage. They haven't taken the old hook and pulled us off stage like an old-timey cartoon yet. We are still here.
Apparently, people think you're funny.
The spinner hook for a lure?
Nope, that's not at all. Nope.
Spinners are cool.
Nope. Nope.
You're gonna stop being mean to my little friend over there too.
I
That's
didn't say
about 3
anything.
days in a row.
I'm so nice to Shane.
Yeah, like most things at your delivery.
Well,
Shane, what did? Can I say the Mex part? Like I'm
It's right there in the comments.
I'm a little gun shy.
the Skymex is that?
Yeah. What did Sky Mex say?
He said that Mother
love
Teresa is ethnically Albanian.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but she was chilling in Calcutta, which is India. I don't know.
You gonna have some sort of Omaha African joke or?
Well, yeah, like
don't,
you know,
don't
ethnically people can kind of be from wherever, but you know they're from where they're from.
do it.
Like
And read his second one there. Right.
yeah, my wife actually worked with her on several occasions. Says mother was really sweet.
Oh.
Wait a minute. How is it? His who?
His wife.
Just kicking it with Mother Teresa?
Apparently, I don't know. I don't know. There's some stories out there that aren't great. That's all I know.
So wait a second.
I don't know.
Stop. We're burying the lead.
What's that?
What do we think Sky Mex means?
I think he is a Mexican person that flies in some capacity.
You could be so wrong.
What do you mean?
Do you?
His
Like American Airlines? Like what?
his avatar's of a flight guy.
I was picturing a helicopter for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just
So we know people whose wives are just out here chilling with Mother Teresa.
apparently.
Hey, you want to go grab a water? Sure. Where are we going?
Yeah.
I want to hear this. No, actually, I don't.
Yeah.
Now, I would not have guessed Albanian, though.
I don't know.
Every time I hear Albanian, I just think of Taken.
I guess I don't really know like what Albanian people look like off the top of my head, you know. I'm gonna Google that. What?
No. Let's
that comes up super fast. If I what do Alban, the first thing is what do Albanians look like? I think that's a reasonable question.
Like last night when I put in Kyle Filipowski and it said girlfriend.
Yeah, it's see. I don't know. She doesn't strike. I don't know. Doesn't strike me as Albanian, but I'll trust SkyMax. I've not.
Maybe she listened to the first 12 minutes and was thinking ambiguous as well.
Oh, he's a flight medic and he's Hispanic.
Oh, that's a flight medic?
Yeah. I was in the neighborhood.
So he has to be good with stress.
Yeah. I was in the neighborhood. That's pretty close.
Dang, how hard would it be to be a flight medic?
What is a flight medic? Like, what is that? What do they do?
You could figure out SkyMex, but you can't.
Is it just like a medic on a plane? Like, what's a flight medic?
Is it somebody that does life flight?
That's kind of what I thought. That's why I thought helicopter, I think.
What is going on?
Albanians?
I don't know.
Okay.
What?
Good luck.
I'm pretty sure Gandhi is like Indian, though.
I'm going to need you to get your act together relatively soon before we seriously get kicked off.
I mean, it's like late June, early July. You got like a month before I'm going to lock it back in. If I'm just being, if I'm totally honest, like a minimum, like probably by Big Ten Media Days, I'll be like zoned back in. But it might take the whole 10-hour drive to Indy to get me locked in.
What happened with Brian Tapu? Are we going to get to Jay and LeBron?
We did talk about Brian Tapu.
That was very well done, though, with Sky. I'm impressed.
Listen,
I don't know if you could be like my board game partner, but that was pretty good.
You know, there's places.
I almost thought you were being a little stereotypical, but
how's that being stereotypical? Like there's like I don't.
Well, I guess Mex would lead you to believe Mexican,
right? Yeah, that was
could have been. I don't know.
I mean, he used the term Hispanic, so I'll use the term Hispanic. But the Mex part led me to believe Mexican. I thought he was being very specific with the Mex part. Like you could be like, "Hey, I'm Asian," or "Hey, I'm Chinese." But, like, they're both accurate if that's the case, right?
Sure.
But if it was, like, the Sky Chinese, then I probably would have been like, he's Chinese, right? Or if he was, like, the Sky Asian, I'd have gone, he's Asian, right? Like, Asian Wyatt calls himself Asian Wyatt. I'm not going to assume.
Coincidentally, he's from Omaha.
Exactly, right?
It's kind of weird.
I'm not going to assume what kind of Asian Wyatt is. I don't know. But if he was more specific, he was like, "Hey, I'm Chinese Wyatt." I'd be like, "Oh, it's Chinese Wyatt."
Oh shoot!
It'd be funny if he called himself Chinese Wyatt and he wasn't Chinese. Like that'd be kind of a good bit.
Yeah.
You good? You feel all right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Shane being like Black Rob.
Yeah, see, he does fly helicopters. Look, SkyMax jammed in. Lol, yes, helicopters like life flight. Nailed it.
God, that's dangerous. Good on him.
I love being right.
Oh, I know. Don't I know it? That is 100. That might be the most accurate thing you said this morning.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, the most accurate thing I've said this morning was that SkyMax is a Mexican pilot. Like, I nailed that.
My man Kevin thinks you're pretty funny this morning.
My guy Kev?
Nope, different Kevin.
Oh, okay.
But you're out of control.
Well, we'll see. Jay's on the phone. He wants to talk about LeBron James. What's up, Jay?
Lucky for you guys, that day is not today.
Well, hello, gentlemen. Seems like the conversation is pretty amazing this morning. Everybody's hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's a little wild out here, Jay. A little wild.
What happened?
Yeah, and I'm glad that I didn't. I'm glad you didn't throw me into the middle of that one. I would have almost been like, goodness gracious, that's just gracefully backed. I was gracefully backed off of that. But shout out to both of you guys. Missed you all. Haven't called in a minute.
Yeah. How are things? How have you been?
Hey, man, I mean, God is pretty faithful, man. And I shouldn't have said pretty in there. I was trying to walk light, but God is faithful, man.
There we go.
So my life is pretty dope. I can't complain. But let me say this. I did see on the internet yesterday, I saw some mixed reviews in respect to the Bronny James and LeBron James thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know how people could feel bad about this. Like, everything about this as a father just makes me smile really big. You know what I mean? Like, to see the fact that, you've got to see LeBron, in the weirdest way, kind of raise his children and in the spotlight. You got to see him. I'm not saying he's perfect by any means, but he's kept his name out of the normal, nonsense that seems to plague most
high-profile athletes.
Yeah. So he's done that, and then you see that his son, right, who has had basketball aspirations since we've gotten to meet him through the media, that he finally makes it to the league, and his father, right. I'm not saying his father had anything to do with it, but if he did, like, that's wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I hear people throwing stuff like nepotism around and things of that nature that have really nothing to do with like this particular situation. There are
how so? Because on one hand, nepotism's been going on in the NBA for like 60 years, so I couldn't really. That doesn't bother me. But how do you think this is not nepotism?
I say it's because nepotism would be, for me, this is what I would think. I would call that if Bronny starts next year. Feel me?
Okay.
Like, if Bronny starts next year because LeBron wants his son next to him on the court, right? That's crazy. That's nepotism. 55 pick, right?
But taking a shot on a long-range second rounder, not so much.
No, because that's the NBA draft, and I think this is where people get a little bit mixed up. Like, the NBA draft is not the NFL draft. Like, the NFL draft is where, teams, supposedly select players based upon their body of work in the college ranks. And guys have to be a certain level of maturity. That's why they got to be sophomores to come into the league and make impact either on a practice team or on a regular team, right? So you see teams build out their roster in a different way in the NFL than you do in the NBA. The NBA draft is based upon speculation and projection, where they hope you will be over the next 5 seasons, right? So when you see, teams take shots on players all the time. As a matter of fact, if you want to keep it a bean, you can go back and look at the 2 or 3 last year of the last 3 or 4 first-round picks, and the majority of these dudes are not playing. Mm. They're on developmental rosters. They're being developed so that in the next 3 to 4 years, they can be everything that the team projected them to be. So I wouldn't say, and it's not a long shot with a kid now that grew up around and in the NBA game. It's not a long shot when he's had, the greatest teachers in respect to what he wants to take as his profession at his fingertips. It's not a long shot. It's not a long shot that if you look at his game, that he fits the NBA game. NBA and college is not the same. Completely different styles of basketball. So it's not a long shot. I just think that people don't know how to deal with healthy father and son relationships. Like, people always tiptoe and are weird about it because not everyone is blessed with it. But that doesn't mean because everyone is not blessed with a dope father, that doesn't mean that when dope fathers exist that their sons don't become, dope themselves.
Mm. Yeah, I disagree with almost everything Jay just said, but we will get to that on the other side of the break here on Hurrdat Sports Radio. Wrapping up hour number 1 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior Stage. If you want to give us a call like Jay just did, you can do so at 888-638-4876. And we do appreciate Jay calling. I do disagree with almost everything he said about Bronny.
I do not, actually. I do not.
It's 100% nepotism to have drafted him.
Okay, no, So,
like, that distinction that he made just isn't accurate. Like, he would not have been drafted by anyone else with any other name. That's just true. That's the definition of nepotism.
Okay, so I think, I don't want to speak for him. Mm-hmm. I think the end game was fathers that have the ability to do for their sons get to do for their sons. Why can't LeBron?
I get that.
So I don't have any problems with that at all.
But in general,
I've seen Doc Rivers. I've seen Bickerstaff.
100%.
I've seen Kiki Vandeweghe.
But Austin Rivers made sense as an NBA player, and he probably got a couple jobs that he probably shouldn't have. But he wasn't trying to get Jeremiah Rivers into the league. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That dude couldn't play. I watched a game. I think he was at Indiana. At one point, he transferred at some point. I watched him where they would not guard him outside of 10 feet.
I understand the pushback on the nepotism definition. I do.
Listen,
but I do think the point was like, because even you yourself at one point said to me, it shouldn't matter how he got there. I don't.
It doesn't matter how. Like in my life, I don't care how I get there, and I get that if Bronny sees it that way. I don't have a problem with Bronny in this situation. My issue is like.
So why would you have a problem? Why would you have a problem with his dad wanting?
Oh, no problem with his dad. This is on the Lakers. Like, if it was a situation where LeBron's like, "Hey, draft my kid or I'm leaving," like, yeah, it's the best organizational decision.
Could I make the case? I don't particularly want to die on this hill because I've never loved or hated a team that I follow closely more than the Lakers.
Yeah, because you really don't like LeBron. You don't like how they played.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into the Sasha Vujovic, Eldon Campbell. Like, I could go
on and on.
Smush Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
the GOAT.
Like in Calcutta. No, Ravi, not the GOAT.
No, they're more into cows than goats over there.
Oh, excuse me.
What, in Albania?
This dude.
That was a good joke, Shane. I like that one.
What did he say?
He goes, I go, they're more into cows than goats over there. He goes, where, in Albania? That was on time, too. Look at you, Shaner.
If we could make the case that nobody else would have drafted Bronny, which is widely the thought.
I believe very accurate.
Who else is 55th pick are we scrutinizing like this? So why do we care?
Because he's not an NBA guy.
Why do we care though? Who picked 55th last year? Who'd they pick?
No idea.
Year before?
No idea.
Year before that?
No idea.
How far you want to go back?
As far back as you'd like.
And you still have no idea, right?
Still have no idea.
So I guess I'm on board with Jay saying, you know what? If you can, why not?
Oh, I get it from LeBron's standpoint. I do. But I also,
even if you're a Laker, what 55th pick in the second round is helping you?
I mean, you could make that argument about like the 5th pick this year.
You're just making my point, though.
That's fine. I still think it's ridiculous.
Okay. So we're just talking about
it's just on principle,
varying degrees of personal opinions.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, that's all.
He landed the plane on a father being able to do for his son, so why not?
Which is fine.
Like if my dope dad has stroke, help me out, because I'll go back to even if this was me, I go, I don't know, man, I'm kind of bothering me. Like I'm a little insecure. Like I probably want to get that on my own. Like I fought my own dad's legacy.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't care how I get there. So if
it matters what happens when you get there.
No, 100%. I get that. I get that.
Here, let me ask this question, right? Okay. Let's say
he's still a 20-year-old.
That's fine.
Okay.
There's a lot of 20-year-olds in this draft that are better than him. There's a lot of 20-year-olds that didn't get drafted that are better than him. And the Lakers need help. Like, listen, I don't know if they're going to find any help at 55.
Our second picks for development? Second round picks?
Sometimes.
All right.
A lot of times people take flyers on him.
We know he can't play. Maybe.
I've seen him a little bit.
Maybe in a couple years he'll be ready.
Maybe. I mean, if he grows 6 inches, maybe. He's 6'1", man.
Maybe.
Like, what? He's 6'1".
Yeah.
There's not.
You probably wouldn't have been grandstanding over guys like Tiny Archibald.
You know, I wasn't watching a lot of scout tape on Tiny Archibald, so I don't have
Allen Iverson
frame of reference there. Allen Iverson was good at basketball, though. You can be little if you're good.
Okay.
There's a difference here. You're talking about Hall of Famers against this dude that scored 4.8 points per game at USC.
I responded to the fact of you isolated simply saying he's 6'1".
And bad at basketball. That's the context here.
Kyle Filipowski is making ESPN headlines now.
Well, you know, it was a weird thing before with Filipowski. Because
did you hear me talk to Matt Powers yesterday?
Yes.
He was floored.
Yeah.
He was floored. He was a big. You got to go back and look at his top 40. He's
a skills over athleticism guy.
Yeah, and I didn't mind him saying that out loud because I knew exactly what I was working with.
100%.
You keep looking out the window. You know I'm paranoid. You know.
Don't worry, I got you. If something comes, I got you.
You know I don't like to sit with my back
to the window.
So you.
Where am I supposed to look, man? Like I'm like looking at you, but I don't want to like stare at you. So like sometimes I glance out the window. You know.
God, I just want to be so done with you. Where am I supposed to look? I'm telling you, when you're talking to me, it would be cool if you looked at me. If not, that's okay, because yesterday I wanted to turn my back on you a couple times too. But when you look out the window, like I'm paranoid.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds like a you problem, if I'm being honest.
See?
Like,
oh, but DB, no, man, you're my boy, man. I care. I can't tell.
Your brother made a comment, by the way, on the.
Who, mine?
Well, it's certainly not mine.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez. My brother says, I'd also like to point out that I'm also an Indian that is not Ravi. Unless someone in Omaha is trying to comp my dinner at a nice restaurant, then I am Ravi.
Oh, he gave you love for being a big spender.
No, he intimated that people give me things. Which is only sometimes true.
Oh, you want to tell us some more wine stories?
They usually don't comp the whole dinner. Wow. It's like a bottle or two.
He's always
I
got
kind of maybe would like Raj.
He's always got the best comments.
He does. I appreciate him listening. But yes, that's also but like, okay, if Caleb, for instance, wanted to be a sports talk radio host, and he just wasn't any good at it.
Yeah.
You hiring him?
Well, I would probably think if I could get him started, I would.
Okay, but like get him started versus
what parent caps their kid's ability at that young? Like you want LeBron to give up on him?
No, but I also
that's the perspective you're missing.
LeBron to be reasonable about who his kid
reasonable
right
in 2024, reasonable in 2027.
Reasonable today.
Because sometimes fathers don't stop believing in their kids.
That's fine, but that's why it's the organization's issue to be like, hey,
but it doesn't cost them anything.
Cost him a second-round pick. You know who else is a second-round pick? Kyle Filipowski.
Okay.
He might the guys that I like the most in this draft, I think, are Filipowski and Connect.
You could have just safely said he may be the most skilled 7-footer in the draft.
Well, that's not even close. Are the other 7-footers in this draft?
I mean, Sarr's pretty skilled.
Not on the perimeter like Filipowski is. Sarr's interior skills are.
Do you watch Duke?
I've watched a lot of Duke, yes.
Okay.
Kyle Filipowski is not real strong inside as a 7-footer, obviously, but his perimeter skills are really good for a guy that size. Sarr, I think, is sort of flipped. He's got a lot of the interior stuff down to a better degree than Filipowski does, and they're hoping he develops the inside stuff or the outside stuff. Is that not
I'm talking skill. Like if you want to get into the micro, sure. But we're talking skilled at that
like
level.
Overall skill?
Yes.
Okay, sure. That's close between him and Sarr.
All right. Okay.
I think Filipowski could end up.
You to momentarily come to your senses.
That seems very unlikely. I think Filipowski has a chance to be the best player out of this, the most productive player out of this draft.
Oh, hot take.
It is a hot take. I understand that.
Right. This was the same guy that they had pegged as a one and done.
No. Okay. Wow.
At some point. Hey, Coach Rule, I didn't hear that. What did you think Ravi said?
That's a beautiful question.
Wow. Hot take.
It's a beautiful question.
No, we both think that's a hot take.
That's fine.
So how do you explain what's happened with the underachievement at Duke up to this point?
What do you mean by underachievement? Like he's produced at Duke.
If you don't stop.
He's produced at Duke. If you
don't stop answering a question with a question, given what he came into high school, you know who's not going to be Kyle Filipowski? Cooper Flagg. Do you know why? Because Cooper Flagg will probably be the number one pick in the NBA draft.
Cooper Flagg's very good. I'm not going to argue about Cooper Flagg. He's super good.
That's answering. Who was the number one? So Filipowski was on most people's top 3 coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't think he underachieved at Duke?
I mean, production-wise, he didn't. I get that he didn't end up being the draft prospect that people wanted him to be. But I'm also talking about this draft specifically. This is a bad draft. There are a lot of bad,
which further accentuates the point.
There's a lot of bad basketball players in this draft.
That he could have gone higher. Why didn't he?
We didn't even talk.
Why didn't he?
Because apparently he's in a cult. I don't know. He's being groomed. There's a lot of stories out there about Kyle Filipowski. I don't know what to do with them.
Like you're not going to be swayed by somebody that's 7 years older than you.
Well, yeah, that's why they call it grooming.
We broke that word down once. We may have to revisit it.
Well, I mean, I know you have like the mobile dog groomers come to your house. Is that a different thing?
I do need my nails done.
Do they do human nails too?
God, I can't stand you.
We are back here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here on the Pillar Exterior stage. We are joined now by Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. Tim, how are you this morning?
Not too bad, not too bad. Getting out of June, kind of ready for vacation at this point.
Well, yeah, a little bit of a dead period means that you get a chance to exhale a little bit, man. I'm sure your board has to be going bananas with the ebbs and flows of trying to follow all these intended targets.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially right now, just kind of coming out of the month that was, some of these guys. I think a lot of people don't really understand is, they expect like, hey, where's this guy leaning now that June's over? It's like, hey, these recruitments aren't done. These guys go home and then they sit down and they think about it for a couple of days, and and where all these schools are now with some of these guys, it's a tough decision, as much as Nebraska has to offer at the same time, these guys are getting pushed and pulled all the kind of different directions. They have, playing time opportunities, NIL opportunities elsewhere. It's just a tough thing to kind of balance for these guys right now. And so, you saw it just last night. Brian Tapu committing to Oregon State on Sunday, and then Wednesday night decommitting, and then reached out to him kind of to figure out why. And he was like, I came home, sat down with my family, thought about it, and I feel like I made a rash decision. I needed to sit down and think about where my heart really was. And then he ended up, committing to Nebraska late last night. So that's just kind of where these guys are at.
Tim, it's interesting you brought that up because we talked yesterday on the show about how I felt like when people make commitments on their visit, a lot of times it is more of an emotional decision. And I feel like when they make a decision, 24 or 48 hours afterward, I feel a lot better about kind of their reasoning behind it. That's totally just an arbitrary thing that I kind of have in my head, but it seems like that is what played out with Tapu.
Yeah, pretty much. It was there's some family ties at Oregon State. I think just he kind of got swept up in the moment of that visit, that family, like kind of just like spending that time with them, and it is. I think Oregon State kind of pitched the, hey, we're somewhat closer to home than Lincoln is, but at the same time, when you're flying from Auckland, New Zealand, what's another 3-4 hours,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it played out there. It was kind of just that, like, yeah. But I totally agree. I think those on-campus commitments I don't always love. Like even coming out of this past weekend, Nebraska got 1 or 2 that committed on the spot, but haven't really announced it because they're going to take some time, and that's one of those things that I prefer. That if you're going to commit, like, give it some time for you to go home, think about it, sit down with your parents, and then make that decision.
Tim, is that a Nebraska thing where they ask them to take a couple days before they announce it so that they are sure, or is that a prospect thing?
It's a mix of both. I know Nebraska is not really pressuring guys to commit necessarily, and at the same time, they'll accept a commitment, but they'll make sure the guys do their due diligence. Like, hey, go home, think about it, make sure you know what you're doing and what you're thinking here. I think you've noticed, like, I don't think Nebraska gets a whole lot of these immediate commitments coming out of the weekend. It's usually, like you said, like a day or two removed, and I think that's intentional.
Some of it absolutely is. Now that I'm listening to you guys kind of volleyball this thing back and forth, because I was telling a couple stories, about Coach Rule wanting players to find a home, and he'll start out by telling guys, hey, explore all options, do what you need to. If I were you, these are the questions I would ask. And so he's like empowering the folks that he's recruiting to be comfortable in doing their due diligence. Not only, in my opinion, is it a win-win because it shows that he's secure, but I think it's why so many of these recruits, Tim, and you than I do, because you talk to them post-visit more, but it's why they feel hey, he really cares about me. Like, I feel like there's this real relational thing that's actually going on because he's not trying to rush us.
Yeah, and that's something you hear from everyone. Not just the fact that they're like Rule doesn't try to rush us. I'm like, hey, what was Nebraska's like pitch? The final sit down with Coach Rule. What was that like? And they're like, Rule didn't try to pitch me. Like, and that's pretty much everybody's like, Rule didn't try to pitch me. He just sits in there, kind of tells me about the program he's building, and then kind of says, hey, we want you to make the best option for you and your family. We just want you to be able to find a good spot for you. Like, what are you looking for? What are the needs you're trying to address? And then like kind of goes through the recruiting process with them from an objective point of view, which really leaves a mark on these guys. Because again, like you said, shows them how secure he is, but at the same time also shows them that like, hey, he truly cares about me, the individual, not me, the football player.
We're talking with Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. So let's talk about Tapu specifically a little bit here and kind of what Donnie's been doing in building that O-line room, because this is a guy who's 6'7", just under 300 pounds, hasn't been playing football that long. He, to me, is a super interesting prospect because of what I would imagine to be a pretty high upside considering his frame and lack of experience.
Yeah, this is I put it in my analysis piece last night. Like, don't count on Tapu cracking the rotation this first 2 years on campus. He's a guy that has 1 year of football experience under his belt, and like truly just 1 year. Like, coming from New Zealand, he wasn't really interested. He just visited the country, saw the game being played with his cousins, like kind of participated, and then kind of made that move and decided to commit to that sport his junior year. So he's not even like touched or learned the technique or anything until this last year. So this is a guy that's going to need some time. You watch his film, there's good stuff in the run blocking aspect of it, and he holds his own in pass, in pass pro, but he needs a lot of work in pass pro. But he's got the ability, like you watch him move for six, as big as he is, he moves extremely fluid down the field, gets good knee bend. You watch him, he gets pretty good, good consistent leverage, which is surprising for a guy with his experience and his size. That's something a lot of bigger guys usually struggle with, but he doesn't really have that issue right now. Has good power, good punch. So there's a lot of play to work with, and I think that's what has Nebraska so intrigued here. But Nebraska understands it. He understands as well. Kind of, I asked him, what's the role Nebraska's talked about you playing? And he's like, yeah, Rule and Raiola just truly see me as a developmental guy. I understand that given my experience that I'm going to have to come in and kind of earn my spot, and Raiola wants to play the best players available. I want to train until I am in that position.
Does he kind of make perfect sense for them as a prospect, considering his timeline and considering the fact that you're looking at, 18 sophomores, freshmen, and redshirt freshmen in the offensive line room? Like, somebody on that extended timeline actually is sort of perfect for them, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I've kind of maintained through this cycle that I don't think Nebraska's taking a super big O-line class. I know people kind of worry about some of these guys.
I agree, man. I agree.
And some of these guys dropping off the board, and you look at it, and it's like, what have they prioritized this cycle? They haven't really prioritized. They've taken some big swings at offensive tackle with David Sanders and Douglas Outta, and they've at least getting those guys on campus. And then you look at what else they've prioritized. They've really prioritized the interior of the line. They've got Houston Keanu Torres. He's announcing a decision on Sunday. Nebraska hopes that goes their direction, but I don't think that one's done just yet. But that's a priority center target and a guy that, if you talk O-line, probably the number one priority. They want to address that center spot when Ben Scott's gone. Houston kind of comes from that long line of interior linemen from Hawaii that are smart, physical, intuitive, understand the game. They see him as the center of the future. And then you look at the other two guys they've really prioritized. It's S.J. Alufetuli and Ale Kalani Uvalu both from Bishop Gorman. Both of those guys, interior linemen in their own right. S.J. is the center, and I think it's just who gets the spot first. Is it S.J. is the Houston? And then Ale's Mormon. He's going on a mission, so he's not going to be enrolled until 2027. So again, another long-term down the line guy. I think they take maybe 2-3 more offensive linemen and call it a day in this cycle.
It's interesting because I love that perspective. We were trying to make the case yesterday where I get it with quarterbacks and some other positions where when we look at depth chart, we always talk about whether that would scare a guy away. Well, Dylan could be a 3-year starter, or when they pencil him in, or, what's Latif think? we talk about that like quarterbacks, and it was saying yesterday, those were the numbers we used, with 17 or 18 true underclassmen. Maybe we need to reconsider how we look at offensive line play too, because Nebraska has quietly stacked considerable depth. And I wanted to remind people yesterday and the day before in talking about Tapu that I think we forgot about the spring game last year and what a concerted effort they wanted to make it look like real football. Without a lot of offensive line in play, they have rebuilt this thing seemingly overnight for people to feel like the sky was falling over Tapu.
Oh yeah. And yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you think about the spring game last year and the spring game this year. I mean, like, I remember them going to spring practices and like Dylan's working with the third string O line, and they're holding up fine. Like that wasn't a thing a year ago. There wasn't a third string line last year.
Yeah, that's a fair point. There just wasn't even a third string line, and this year you could have 3 strings of line just in the underclassmen alone, which is, like DB said, really quietly rebuilt this thing on the fly, and that's super impressive to me because a lot of times O-line takes a super long time to build and figure out.
Tim, let me ask you something, because I think is this your third or fourth school?
This is my third school.
Okay. So you ever seen a personality type like Donnie publicly that seems to be in such stark contrast privately when he's recruiting? I've watched him up close the last year or so. He's completely different in terms of his level of engagement when he's not behind the podium.
Yeah.
Do you have you have a couple guys like that?
There's a couple. I mean, I think one that comes to mind is just like hearing the way recruits talk about Jim Harbaugh compared to the way he kind of the public perceives him. He's still that goofy out there guy. I mean, that he's always been that goofy out there guy, but recruits are like, man, he really resonates. He knows how to connect with the youth. Like, he really gets us sometimes. And I'm like, really? That's interesting. I think Sharon Moore's a similar way. Sharon that's
a good one. That's a good one.
He's good, man. He's a real good recruiter, and I think you're starting to see that kind of like the difference between him and Harbaugh kind of start to come to light. And now that he's taken over that program, the way they're recruiting now, they're recruiting at a much higher level than they were under Harbaugh. They did a good job with Harbaugh of identifying, developing talent, but now they're like really in on some of these big boy recruitments, and they're finding ways to win, which wasn't a thing under Harbaugh.
Tim, I'm curious because you mentioned some of the high profile offensive linemen that were brought in, the big swings that Nebraska was taking. And, I know people get frustrated because those end up being very public misses, right? But whether it's like Sanders or like Scholl down at Auburn, Outta, like isn't it part of the process to get into the conversation with these guys and get them on campus? Like, it's frustrating not to land them, but Nebraska hadn't even been getting these guys on campus before. Like, that's a step in the right direction in this process, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is absolutely a step in the right direction. And, I've kind of maintained, too, these last 2 weeks, kind of with some of these misses, like, hey, guys, like, be patient, because I think the fall, like, the staff wants to get most of this class figured out before the fall. Like, ideally, they would like to have that done. But the staff also recognizes that for a lot of these guys, they just want to see results. In their lifetime, they haven't seen Nebraska win football games, like win consistently. So they want to see results. They want to see, hey, Nebraska's shown me all of these different things. I just need to see results. When those results come, you're going to see some guys that are maybe committed elsewhere, maybe aren't really considering Nebraska anymore, kind of start to pop back up on the radar, potentially, make their way back to campus, be intrigued, and potentially, flipping from their current school. I think the fact that they're getting, I mean, for us at Rivals, we have David Sanders as the number 1 offensive tackle and Douglas Outta the number 2 offensive tackle. The fact that Nebraska had both those guys on campus this last 2 months is insane. That it just wasn't a thing for a long, long time. And the fact that both are in there, both have good relationships at Nebraska, that if something does go wrong down the line, Nebraska's one of those schools that could potentially be like, hey, come flip back to us, or hey, you're in the portal, come portal over to us. Like, Nebraska's done that and built those relationships where they're in that conversation for the next couple of years.
Hey, I want to take a little bit of a deep dive because I want to reward you for your homework. There's two guys, and I want to start with Hawthorne out of Gilbert, and I think the consensus is it's Iowa State or Nebraska. When you're looking at kind of his profile, and I'll get to Sard next. I'll get to Donovan Stard next out of Brentwood. But when you're talking about guys like Hawthorne, when you talk to him, does he see guys that he thinks that he could be like? Because that's a kind of a little closet thing I think Nebraska's very good at. They're very good with on-the-fly comps when they're rolling tape and watching tape with guys. Who's a comp, do you think, for Hawthorne?
I don't know if there's one necessarily that the staff's told him. I'll say, like, watching his film, I see a lot of Reimer there, like a lot of Luke Reimer there, like just similar traits, similar, like, hey, there's this raw athlete that plays with his hair on fire, and just loves to hit people and plays that old school enforcing linebacker style.
He is very good with diagonals like that, where he can close at angles.
Oh yeah, and he takes good angles too. Like I kind of noted it yesterday. Like he doesn't really overrun guys, which sometimes you see, like especially guys that love to take those angles and just like fly around. They just sometimes overcommit, but he does a really good job of, as he's getting to that spot, slowly but surely squaring up, making sure he's not getting beat on either side. Like Reimer is a good comp for him in my opinion. Just watching him. I'll say coming out of this weekend, a comp that I did hear the staff make, they showed Bryson Weber, the 6'3" corner out of Houston. They showed Bryson a lot of Tommy Hill tape, and they were like, Tommy was in the same position as you. Like, he didn't really see it in himself, like switching from wide receiver to corner, or didn't really see like the upside he has as a DB. And then we kind of instilled some of this IQ in him and trained some of this IQ into him, and we can do the same thing for you. And I've been around Bryson. I've seen the player, and like I get what kind of Cooper sees there. I think Weber's a lot more raw than Hill was coming out of high school. Hill did have some a couple years of corner experience in addition to wide receiver experience. Bryson's going to have a year and a half-ish of DB experience when he finally graduates, and so there's a little bit of difference there. But the fact that Nebraska's in that recruitment with Utah and TCU, two programs that have a good tradition of producing DBs. One thing I always say, personally, if Utah offers a DB and is interested in a DB, I'm paying attention to that guy because Utah knows defensive back play.
100%. Let's get to Donovan Starr, because a lot of people do the opposite of what Nebraska did. A lot of times Nebraska offers, and then other guys do. This Donovan Starr says yes to Auburn, and Nebraska still offers. Right? It typically hasn't been a Nebraska thing. How are you tracking with Donovan Starr?
Yeah, there's a couple of those DB recruitments this cycle where they've kind of entered at interesting times. This one, and then the other one was the DB out of California, LaRue Zamorano. He announced like a top 6, and then a week later, Nebraska offered. Like, Nebraska just and some of those top 6 schools, like when they had offered, it's like, hey, some of these schools have been in here for years, and Nebraska just kind of entered the picture. So Nebraska kind of taking some shots there. Just kind of that's a position right now they kind of need to add some more names to the board. With Starr, that's one that he, like, when I reached out to him, I was just like, hey, I know you just committed to Auburn, but Nebraska offered. What's your kind of read? And he's like, I'm interested. I'm going to have some conversations with them this summer, but right now, I'm locked in with Auburn. So I think he's going to let this commitment kind of sit for a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised, because Nebraska's not the only school pushing there. Wouldn't be surprised come the fall he starts to explore some other options and just make sure he made the right decision, considering some schools that have entered the picks this summer and some of the schools that have continued to push despite his commitment. So wouldn't say this one's done necessarily, but at the same time, it's a bit of a long shot all the time when you offer a kid that's committed elsewhere, especially one from the South.
Tim, talk to me about Jeremiah Jones. I know he was on an official visit to Nebraska, and he's expected to make his decision on Monday. Where does Nebraska sit with him?
I feel good about where Nebraska stands coming out of the weekend. I think they did a really good job kind of making that first impression, or making that this was the first impression for them, but making that lasting impression on him, kind of showing him they care and showing him that, hey, we don't want you just at any one position. We just want you, the player. Like, we're going to figure it out with you. We're just really fascinated with your athletic profile, and we want you on campus. We want to work with you. We want to develop you. We see a lot of different potential paths for you to be successful here, and that's really resonated with him and his family. I think the one factor, I think, decisions coming soon. Right now, I'm going to say it's Nebraska, but I think one thing to be a little wary of is Louisville's NIL. Kind of they're active there, and more so than Nebraska is with some of these high school guys. And if they're willing to pony up here and keep this guy in state, I think they can throw a number down that Nebraska might not be willing to match at this point. At the same time, though, just based on everything I've gathered, this isn't necessarily an NIL recruitment. And the thing is like there's a lot of these recruitments that aren't necessarily NIL recruitments, but it does get to a point where a school offers an amount of money that you just cannot turn down. There's already been a couple Nebraska's been on the other side of, unfortunately, the cycle. There's nothing you can do about that, Like a kid can say all he wants, hey, I'm not an NIL guy. I know my value. I know it's going to be relatively even wherever I go. But then the school offers something that he didn't expect. I'm not going to fault the kid for saying yes to that number. I mean, like I would do the same thing, But in this situation specifically, I don't think this is going to be an NIL recruitment. I think an interesting note here is he could play multiple different positions. I kind of see him as a safety linebacker hybrid best at the next level. But this is a kid that, he plays quarterback, he plays wide receiver, he does some running back, he plays linebacker, safety, does some corner at his high school. Like, he does it all, there's only a few things he just cannot do on the football field.
Would you pencil in Cortez Mills to Oklahoma?
I would right now. I would keep an eye on LSU there because LSU got him on a surprise visit kind of late in June, and Cortez Hankton, I don't like counting him out of recruitments ever. He's really good at what he does. And, if LSU's got Bryce Underwood in their bag, if Bryce Underwood wants a guy, he's done a really good job of getting those guys in the boat. So I'd keep an eye on LSU, but right now I would pencil it in for, I think Oklahoma gets him right now.
Tim, any under the radar guys that you're either Nebraska's made an offer on or guys that you're keeping an eye on that intrigue you for Nebraska?
There's a couple, but kind of like looking ahead to kind of 26 and 27. I think that's where we're at this point. In terms of 25, I'm trying to think off the top if there's any under the radar guys. I know there's a couple like wide receivers I'd like to see them offer just based on where that board is right now and kind of where they've got. I mean, Emmanuel Choice is committed to Oklahoma. Cortez Mills is turning to Oklahoma. Michael Terry's still a wide open recruitment, which like the latest I've heard is, hey,
he's interesting, man. He's over the place.
So fascinating. And I'll give you some context there, just kind of why that's so interesting is he's a freak athlete. You watch the film and you're like, how is this guy not more pursued? Like, he finally got the recruiting attention he deserved these last few months, but the kid just didn't have social media until like a year or two ago, or didn't have a phone. Like, his parents didn't give him a phone until like a year or two ago. And you can tell by the way he posts and the way he uses social media, this is a guy that's not experienced with it at all. Like, he's a guy that like, he'll just post hashtag Go Big Red and then just tag every single coach he possibly can. Like, there's no caption, there's no anything, and then he'll tweet out the video that Nebraska gave him, and then he'll tweet out his huddle video next to it because he's still trying to get that exposure from, because he was told at a young age, hey, make sure your huddle video is getting out there. It's like, dude, you're down to 4 schools, you don't need to put the huddle video out there anymore. Like, you're good. But you can see kind of he's so new to all of this and the way he's handling this process. Like, and that's what makes this recruitment so interesting is every visit he goes on, it's like a brand new experience for him. And he's like, wow, I love that school. Wow, I love that school. And I get it. This is all new for you. This is all when schools are rolling out the red carpet the way they are for him, it's going to blow your mind a little bit. And so the one thing I have heard is Nebraska's kind of done a good enough job that of these 4 schools, they're the ones that can kind of last till the end because they've pitched them right on the football front. Whereas like a school like Texas, which was a school he grew up rooting for, Texas is all kind of, hey, we don't want you at wide receiver, we want you at DB, and he's not super interested in that. And so, but he's still interested in Texas because Texas is Texas. That's the school he grew up rooting for. It's a school close to home, all of that. A&M has done a similar job, but, growing up a Texas fan, I think there's some complicated feelings towards A&M. And Oregon's done a good job, but Oregon kind of sees him as like a running back receiver, and they are somewhat newer to this recruitment. I think the fact that Nebraska was as early as they were here and the relationships they've built, they've got lasting power, staying power, and I think ultimately it could end with them winning this in the end, but this remains just like a 4-horse race that I can't call at this point because all of these four are putting their best foot forward. Like, he took 2 visits to Oregon last month, and Oregon rolled out the red carpet. And when Dan Lanning wants a guy, it's hard to beat him right now. He's real good on the trail.
Tim, we appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again next week. Good stuff.
Fantastic, Tim.
Sure, see you next week.
From inside Nebraska. We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Radio. We're halfway through the show here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla on the Pillar Exterior stage. They have not kicked us off the air yet today. Amazing Daniel has a comment, though, that might get us started. Good young talent. He's talking about Tim. I'm not a big recruiting guy, but enjoy his segments and not making any assumptions, but also not Ravi. I think you may be implying that our friend is possibly Indian.
Well, I told TK when I was going to shoot my shot earlier.
Yeah.
That's who I was going to say, but I didn't want to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to guess.
Whatever, man.
I almost have just asked him.
How's your black friend quota going lately while you're over here slinging your little arrows of righteousness?
I got more than one. Am I including you or not including you?
Oh, no, well played. I've had enough of you.
Are we friends?
No.
All right, then I got 2.
Hey.
I dated a black girl in high school.
Shout out. I did too.
Nice.
Yeah. Couple.
Just the one for me.
At a bad.
Well, half, actually.
Nah, I ain't even getting into that.
Shout out to Cliff and Jermaine. Those are my black friends. Jermaine might be listening.
Oh, you shouting out guys now.
Well, I mean,
Love truths and apple juice, man. Love peas and hair grease.
Do I know more black people than that?
Are you really contemplating this?
I'm counting. Does Severe count? Are me and Severe friends?
Sometimes.
I'll call him. Okay, 3.
Out of the days of the week, yeah. That's about
George
right.
Norwood. He's black. Friendly.
Oh,
he lives in Chicago now, though, so it's a little harder.
Rolling with the sky.
Oh, my guy Willie.
Well, that sounds how convenient. Willie what?
Willie Williams. His name is legitimately Wilbert Washington Williams III. I swear to God.
It's a lot of alliteration.
A lot of W's there. And then he named his kid Wilbert Washington Williams IV.
What's happening?
But somehow they call him Trey. And I'm like, wait, he's the 4th. Shouldn't it be called the Quad or like Quattro?
It's a challenge.
Quattro is a great nickname, by the way. You good?
Yeah, right.
Willie was the coach that I coached under in college. Oh, Charles Wilson? There's another one. I'm up to like 6.
He's in Texas now.
He is. Good dude, though.
By
Love
the way,
Charles.
speaking of which, did you know that was Michigan Lance you met at 7-on-7?
Not until later. I figured it out because
Yeah, he felt some type of way about how you kind of blew him off.
I had no idea that's who it was. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him because all his like social media stuff is not his face.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize the voice immediately because there was like he just came up, dapped me up real quick.
Yeah, old Lance would have probably said something more, like been offended, but like more mature Lance was like, okay.
Actually
okay.
thought about
I see what he's on.
I actually thought about it later and I was like, oh, I wish he would have told me that was him.
Yeah, Lance not your friend.
We'll work on it.
Yes, indeed.
I just wish he would have introduced himself because I've never met him personally.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Because he's like,
not like me, contrary to popular belief.
What do you mean? He doesn't look like you? No, he doesn't. But yeah, so I wish he would have been like, oh, hey, I'm Lance. But I think because we communicate so much, he assumed I would know. But unlike me, like I don't get to see his face all the time, right?
Right.
Because like he's, none of his avatars are his picture. So I had no idea.
You're dang right.
No. Also, I thought he was older.
No, he's gonna be 40, I think.
Yeah, I thought for some reason I thought he was like a little bit older than that. So I also it didn't match what I had pictured in my head.
Well, there are times where we can look pretty young, but be old.
Why is that?
I'm just saying.
Is there a saying or something that is kind of epitomizes that sentiment? Or
Boy, you're a piece of work, boy, I tell you.
The amazing Daniel says, "Welcome to Indians I'm Not Enlisting Black People with Ravi Lulla." Black friends, Daniel. Black friends. I've got at least.
Well, he's in rare form, man.
I've got at least 5.
You see the pictures he sent out of his Southern Eats? Man, he has had some fantastic plates.
I know.
And I told you, the 2 things I missed about Charlotte, or being in that part of the country, how green it was.
Yeah.
And the food was
They
incredible.
have a ton of restaurants in Charlotte.
It's incredible.
It's about all they have in Charlotte.
And I think he's Raleigh, so it's still,
in the neighborhood.
But yeah, he's in trouble.
My guy Willie's in Winston-Salem.
How you know he's your guy?
Because it's my dude.
Okay.
I was in his wedding. He was in
even though you want to call his son the Quad.
Quattro. Yeah, I was in his wedding. He was in at least one of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Hispanics and helicopters.
Yep. That was right though. That wasn't even a stereotype.
That was an amazing deduction. I've been talking to him for years.
Can I give you a little truth serum here?
Go ahead.
So
I'm terrified. Are you, Shane?
Full disclosure, I think, and I don't actually know, but this is the reason I thought he was a Hispanic helicopter pilot.
Yes.
Just like the alliteration with the H's there. It took me a second. Is because I think he follows me on Twitter, and I think his avatar looks like a Life Flight thing.
The blue thing that looks like.
So I think I made an assumption based on the name and the picture.
I did not know that's what that was.
It wasn't a total blind guess. Is
like our conversations go back years.
Yeah. With SkyMex?
Yeah.
I also feel like that should be the name of a Mexican restaurant in like the Space Needle. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So
it used to be Inclin. He used to have a different
word on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds to me more like one of those pills that you take, like Skyrizi or something.
Shane, what's up, bud?
I'm just saying the name wise.
Oh my!
I just assumed it was like.
I mean, that's what it says. That's the only Sky I know. I don't know any Skylers.
Scal Labissiere?
I don't know that. I don't know what that is.
Nobody does. Nobody can do that.
We got to practice.
Dude said Sky Rizzy.
Yeah, I don't know. What does Sky Rizzy do?
I mean, not Sky Vodka, not Sky Blue, not.
What does Sky Rizzy do? I can't remember.
Apparently you're not up late enough to see those commercials.
Oh, it's for plaque psoriasis.
Yes.
Or psoriatic arthritis or Crohn's disease. That's a wide-ranging drug there.
Yes. I mean, I don't know Sky Vodka.
You all right? DB, you seem like you're a little distressed this morning. You okay?
Everybody deal with the heat. You know what I'm saying? So
I thought you said you were going to move your head a little bit more today. I feel like I'm teeing off a little bit.
sometimes some guys can be too cool for school.
I gotta get back to my rope of dope.
You look like Errol Spence in the 7th round a little bit, man.
Oh, no, you didn't.
To be that soft.
Wow.
Guys show a little bit more life. They're going to stop the fight.
Wow. Feel like I'm being manipulated a little bit.
You can't count my dad as one of your Indian friends, just so you know.
Well, you made it seem like he was short. He's not that short.
He's like 5'3", 5'4". He's
I
little.
did want to fix his hat in that picture, though.
Yeah, he doesn't wear a lot of hats. I don't know why he was doing that week when we were cleaning out the house. He was finding hats and putting them on.
Kind of tilted. I just wanted to straighten it.
Yeah, he there's Indian people famously don't wear a ton of baseball caps. They usually have some other type of headgear, depending on what persuasion you're in.
It wasn't the show where those guys
like stocking caps or what?
Good young pitchers. What was that movie?
What? Oh, $1 Million Arm.
Yeah.
I actually, that's a bad movie. I actually really liked it. No, I'm going to get serious here for a second. You're going to laugh through it. It's fine. But, I got a little emotional.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a horrible movie.
It's a very bad movie. No, it's very bad. I recognize that. But, okay, so you'll appreciate this a little bit, I think. I don't know if you're in the headspace for it right now because I'm about to get serious. but it does have a lot to do with being black and Indian.
Of course.
Well, no. Okay, so I was a kid when I grew up.
This sounds like something Biden was trying to get to last night.
We beat Medicare.
Dude, it broke my heart. 8:41. I turned it off.
You know, I never watched it. I just like social media is a thing.
I turned it off.
But like, you know those bumper stickers that says like Giant Meteor 2024? That's me.
So
he can't think straight. And,
you're
and Trump couldn't tell the truth.
You're disappointing he had a 8 handicap instead of a 6.
No, but so $1 Million Arm. I got a little emotional because, like, you know, you've talked about before.
I made it 41 minutes.
You've made it. I made it 0 minutes. I didn't even try. I was like, I'm not about this.
Oh.
But you've talked about before how it's really important sometimes to see people that look like you succeeding in the thing you want to do.
Correct.
And I didn't have that growing up. There was no Indian baseball players. Like, there's none. And I wanted to be a baseball player growing up. I loved baseball. It was like my thing. And so, like, when I saw the movie, I was like, man, I kind of wish these guys had existed when I was growing up. Like, it would have given me a little something. I got a little emotional.
I could actually see that.
See? Like, it's a good reason. It's a bad movie, but it's a good reason. You got to do what you got to do. John Hamm, not a convincing agent. I don't think a very good one either. Come on.
No.
I don't know.
Just throw strikes.
You little. Oh, hey, Tom House. Just throw strikes. Got some unusual methods. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. I don't even know what we're doing. It's Hurrdat Sports Radio. Welcome back as we wrap up hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla, and we're brought to you by Team Jack. Make sure you get out to teamjackfoundation.org and support everything they're doing over there. You can volunteer, you can donate, you can see what events are coming up, and you can see where all your efforts are headed with all the projects that they're invested in right now. They're helping to fund and trying to find better treatments for childhood brain cancer and one day a cure. That is teamjackfoundation.org. Everything you need to know. DB.
Ravi.
How you doing?
Ravi.
Yeah?
L3.
What's up?
That's a beautiful question.
It's a terrible question.
You got any like you guys questions for me right now, or you good?
I did, but I'm gonna move on from it because you told me it was fiction. And
which part? I don't remember what I told you was fiction.
I don't even know if I want to say
yeah,
this.
It's fine. Well, it couldn't possibly be any worse than the first 2 hours of the show, in terms of just
it's fine. It's
getting
fine.
canceled.
It's fine.
Yeah. What's up?
It's fine.
What's up?
That was just a lamb goat question.
But yeah, they do. They use lamb and goat as substitutes for beef a lot.
And you can only get beef in
like the Catholic sections of India because they're not revered there in the same way.
Okay.
They are seared there in a different way.
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm sure Bill's probably like, oh, God.
I think this is what Bill pays for. But if I'm being honest.
Storytelling.
I mean, you will find, listen.
Hey, speaking of which.
The numbers would tell me that this is, people are loving my Count My Black Friends segment. So.
It's the lowlights.
Or at least
they're not even. You're by the weighing them. They can't be friends if you just can't think of them. Oh, and I know this guy.
DB,
oh, and I know that guy.
I'm sorry. I don't think of them as like my black friends. I have to like go through the Rolodex and be like, oh, that person is black.
Oh, because you don't see color.
Well, no, I see it, but I don't identify them by that. It's part of them, but it doesn't define them, DB.
Well, you're good.
Wow.
You like that? Even he's in disbelief.
Never, ever.
Hey, that was so manufactured and scripted. It just rolled right off your little narrow tongue. Like,
is that a snake charmer joke with the Indian stuff? Really? Narrow tongues? Come on, man. I got a normal sized tongue. See? It's right there. Did you hear Kyle Filipowski's getting groomed?
I was going to say, speaking of which, you know who spends a ton of time in Utah? Bill! The boss man.
He does. Got business interests in Utah.
Yeah.
Apparently so does Kyle Filipowski now. Business and personal interest in Utah, it would seem. if the stories are true.
Incredible. And the funny thing about this whole story is I asked Shane to get Jonathan Giovanni.
Yeah. Who's has not responded to him in about a decade.
He goes,
Oh, come on, Shane.
man, that guy hasn't responded to me since 2017.
That's a tough look, Giovanni. I know you listen.
Who authors the Draft Express and has a good podcast.
He does a good job.
So everybody was
I wonder if he's changed his number or something, Shane.
So this podcast,
with Lowe, right?
Yeah, has this information
just casually
about the.
He's like, yeah, there's this weird thing with
this rise and fall of Kyle Filipowski.
Yes, which is still bonkers. Like
it is bizarre.
And I kept referring to it as a cult. It's Mormonism. I'm not calling Mormonism a cult. I was making a joke, guys. Like it's funnier to say cult. Like it's funnier to be like Kyle Filipowski didn't get drafted because he's in a cult. Like that's funnier than being like, yeah, there's this weird situation where he like cut off his family and he's being groomed and he might be Mormon now.
I think we ought to chill with the groom thing unless you're quoting his brother.
I'm quoting what his brother said, who said this.
This is one Daniel Filipowski.
Yes, which is not Kyle, but they do appear to be related. At least according to Daniel. He says, I'm Kyle's oldest brother. You all don't have a clue of the extent of the story that has to do with his girlfriend. There's a story that has been pushed under the table for 2 years now. He's talking about how he reached out to Giovanni and he didn't respond. He was just sliding in his DMs, basically.
Yeah, Giovanni mentions that Filipowski struggles in interviews and during his pro day workout concerned some teams before because they were inquiring about the 7-footer's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Who's 27, 28, somewhere in there.
28.
Yeah.
And in return, when he asked Lowe to elaborate, Giovanni said, the woman, whose name is Caitlin Hutchinson, is several years older than Filipowski, which some NBA people and execs found, in quotes, weird.
That's fair. I get it's an unusual situation. And then Becky Filipowski chimes in and goes, she's 28 with an end game 3 years ago to have a diamond ring on her hand. When Kyle left Duke, he was still in high school. So like there's I think that's where some of the like grooming terminology came in.
Well, I think
was with the age difference and kind of like some of the accusations from the family are that she has cut him off from them, which is a grooming behavior tactic.
So was she or was she not the babysitter? Is what I don't know.
I don't know.
Because they did go to prom.
Yeah, he took like a 25-year-old at the time.
I think
prom.
3. Would she have been 23 at the time?
No, because he's a sophomore. So that wasn't 5 years ago. That would have been like 2-3 years ago tops.
Okay, so what I can't follow because it's speculation from Daniel.
Yeah.
So they are or aren't cousins?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm comfortable using grooming. I'm not comfortable using cousins.
Yeah, I'm asking. Don't paint me in that corner. I'm not saying it's fact.
I mean,
I asked the question. Oh, here we go
with the brush backing into it. I didn't really like. I didn't bring up the cousin thing.
Not getting me.
I don't know if they're. I mean,
you're not getting your boy.
At this point, I would believe almost anything is possible in this situation because it is very strange. But I'm just gonna tell you. If I've got a 7-footer that has some guard skills, and I think if he gets a little stronger, can finish on the inside, I'm probably going to take a chance on a weird girlfriend situation.
Yeah,
before pick 32, especially in a trash-ass draft. You know what I mean? Look at the scouting report evals on like every guy taken before him and then him, and it's like, okay, really good athlete, terrible motor, can't shoot, don't know if he has any basketball skills. That guy goes like number 7. Okay, that's not Klingon, but that like just in general goes in the lottery, right? You're like, oh yeah, terrible efficiency, terrible decision making, but he was a really good prospect coming out of high school. That's Isaiah Collier. Can't shoot, can't do anything, but we thought he was good once, so let's draft him in the first round.
I'm sure this is how give me another scouting report. Let's go. Give me KJ Simpson because KJ Simpson went before. No, he didn't go before Filipowski.
No, but like number 1 pick.
Give me Tristan DeSilva.
Tristan DeSilva. There was some people who were like, we don't know if he's an NBA player. They're like, I don't understand. There was literally one I was watching. They're like, I do not understand the hype. I don't understand why people are in love with him. This guy had him at like 55, like legitimately on his big board.
Bronny James.
Well, see, they could have Tristan.
I'm not mad at nepotism.
Speaking of that, do you want to get to Out of Breath Brian? He's got some thoughts.
Hold on, I'm not quite done.
Is anybody better than Bully Ravi? Bully Ravi is hilarious.
And then you read Filipowski's, and it's like, man, 7 feet tall, pretty good athlete, pretty good defender for his size, can shoot it at a reasonable amount, and he's got a soft touch, so we think the numbers are going to get better the way they did from freshman to sophomore year, can create his own shot, really good perimeter skills for a 7-footer. And then the negative is like, if he gets a little stronger, he'd finish better at the rim. That was the negative. But like, but he's got a good frame, so we think he'll be able to do it. That was the negative of his scouting report, and that guy goes after 31 other dudes.
Yeah, his girlfriend's 28 years old. I'm out.
Yeah, it's like his girlfriend's 28 years old, and he might be becoming a Mormon. Off the board. No, thank you.
I really wish you would have been on video there, because you had a lot of movement.
This dude is wild.
Am I not on video?
No.
Dang.
I'm glad I am. Wait, I hope I'm not either.
Hey, I'm back. Like I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Now we can get out of breath, Brian. I had to. We got like 2.
Did you not? So you cut off the part what his mom said though.
No, I said that. I read.
No, you just fast forwarded to the ring.
Oh, I was reading.
You're opening a 2-year issue. ... And she's 28 with an end game. With a diamond on his hand when Kyle left Duke. He was still in high school. She put it in caps.
Yeah.
Can you do the math and get to an age where that would have been okay?
I mean, he could be 18 in high school. A lot of people are 18 in their senior year in high school. I'm not saying it's okay, but it might not have been illegal, I guess is my point.
Okay.
There is a difference between like okay and illegal, though.
Although her and Daniel are intimating that this was like a 13 or 14-year-old Kyle Filipowski thing.
Which would
have made her 22.
Yes, there's like an 8-year gap. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's not great. It may or may not be illegal. I don't know all the details.
So Utah's just like, hey,
I don't know all.
We're in.
I mean, culturally, he might be a fit.
So it was like 60%
based on what we've learned here.
We only have like a minute, so
culturally,
I didn't have the time.
He's so listening to you act.
Like he hasn't even put the
clock up.
I thought we had like 10 minutes left, Shane. I was just going to keep rolling. Picture me rolling.
I can picture you rolling.
Hey, this guy can't shoot. He can't dribble. I love so. He's got a 42.5-inch vert.
He's 6'1" with a 40-inch vertical. Does not have a single basketball skill.
Hey, let's take this guy before Phil Powell.
Let's take him at 12. And then you got Dalton Connect, who's just like, hey, I'm a walking bucket. I'm 6'6". I'm a good positional athlete. And they're like, 17 maybe? Does that sound good? I don't think there's 16 guys in this draft that can actually play in the NBA, but you're going to go 17, even though you're probably one of them. The hell are we doing? We're talking to Mike Sautter next. That's what we're doing.
Oh, who knows?
That's DBM, Ravi, Lulla. We still don't have a clock on the board. I'm just going to keep talking until his music goes out. I have no idea what the time is, Shane.
Clearly.
What time is it? It's Mike Sautter time here on Hurrdat Sports Radio. We're back.
I mean, I can't hear Jerome. He's over here. He's over here cussing his brains out. I'm hoping it's not like.
I just got a notification.
So that's Sports Radio. That's DB. I'm Ravi. That's Mike Sautter joining us on the.
Oh, don't try to be professional now. You can beat it.
We're on AM 590 ESPN Omaha. ESPN KFOR in Lincoln.
Gotta go ahead and apologize, Lincoln.
I'm gonna apologize that you missed the first 2 hours of the show because it was phenomenal radio.
Sorry about that.
Just really good stuff.
I said 3,000 people on the stream. Like, what is going on with these yahoos?
I don't know, but they keep coming. I don't know.
Where else are you gonna get Albania, Calcutta, guys just chilling with Mother Teresa?
I'm just saying.
Some great draft analysis. Like those scouting reports were fantastic. Hey, guy can't go left. He can jump 43 inches. Can't throw it in the ocean. Pretty athletic. Let's take him 7. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how they read.
He's 19 instead of 21. We like that guy.
Yeah. It's like, he's 23 years old. Automatic second rounder. Yeah. Has 0 basketball skills. Take him in the lottery.
But he's young.
Here's the thing.
He's 18.
A lot of people that are young never get good at basketball when they're older. Especially when you give them like, hey, here's a few $1 million.
Shane, why doesn't my mic volume work? Am I 3 now?
I have no idea.
Oh, I am this one.
I don't even.
Jerome, who's controlling you?
I have no idea. Me.
Nobody's controlling Jerome. We know that. Nobody controls.
I'm just trying to not say something today that will get someone wanting to kick my butt today.
You're dang right.
Because that happens, I guess. I'm just fire away, fellas. I'm just
With arms wide open.
With arms wide open. See, if we had with,
don't even get me started.
we had with arms wide open, like we wouldn't have these.
Dude, conveniently
Chris
knew who to pick on and who not.
Chris Stapleton has a song. Fire away. Go for it.
How are things?
Things are good. I got to go to Norris today.
What's it? What's in
Hickman?
Yeah.
Or is it outside of Hickman? No, Binkelman. No,
Binkelman is
Binkelman's
like way far.
Yeah,
That's
in the
Panhandle.
Binkelman's McCook. Yeah,
I've been to Binkelman.
Yeah, same.
Are you guys making up town names right now?
Binkelman is way out by southwest.
Dude, it's where the thing in Nebraska does the 90-degree angle thing.
Yeah, it's way
The
in
Panhandle?
corner. It's Colorado, Kansas.
I said Panhandle, and you act like I was speaking Portuguese.
When did you say Panhandle?
No, it's south though.
You said McCook.
I didn't say McCook. He said McCook. I clearly said Panhandle. Jiminy Christmas.
You can't hear
or think, apparently, this whole morning.
No, I'm going to Norris. Yeah,
That's not even in the Panhandle.
You're not here for the slander?
Hickman. It's not in the Panhandle.
No.
It's south. It's in the
down on
corner.
the Kansas border.
I just
That's
said
where
it's
Binkelman. That's where
Colorado,
Binkelman
Kansas.
is.
Everybody's real loud.
Colorado, Kansas.
I'm so sorry.
A little kumbaya going on here.
Hickman.
I don't even eat
different.
s'mores.
You're not like.
Nor do I like spending time around campfires.
Or what?
To me, that sounds soft.
It does, and I
You're
don't like
glamping.
smelling like.
I'm not even
like me. You're a
I
glamper.
would glam.
Take
I'm a
me
glamper.
to a hotel.
Yeah, need air conditioning.
I need a locked door and I need climate control.
And not one of those hotels you got to walk in
No.
Like the
There's a pre or post Jeopardy joke in there, and I'm not going to
I
say
need
it.
a GD lobby in my hotel.
Yeah,
like I'm not just rolling up and like walking into my hotel room from the outside like some peasant. Like, what are we doing?
What's happening?
What are we doing?
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
No,
Safe out here.
those are called murder hotels, and I will not stay there.
We're gonna absolutely murder you.
I got a couple black friends.
I got at least 5.
He couldn't even think of any like off the cuff. He's like using his fingers.
Well, I'm sorry that I don't just identify. I don't segregate my friends into black friends and not black friends. They were all intermingled in my head, so I had to go sort through. I'm like, oh, he happens to be black.
Hey, how'd that go again?
Had to sort through like Stevie Wonder, also black.
Can't see. I think Stevie Wonder can see though.
Yeah, right.
Not friends with me though. That I'm aware of. You good? He seems like he's struggling today.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
You gonna get in any fights at 7-on-7?
No.
Oh, that's childish.
I'm not talking about this. It didn't. No punches were thrown. It was
Just barely.
It's all right.
Just barely.
I moved on.
You know what I couldn't understand about that though?
What's that?
I moved on.
Like he kept saying I was gonna cry on the. Does he not
This is
listen?
my radio
Does he
show.
not listen to the show?
Yeah.
I'm here for my radio show every day.
For a guy that coaches at another high school, I sure do talk about Mother South a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't. I think that was the
That's
thing that
all right.
pissed me off the most. And I hate fake tough guys, but
Also, what was funny about the situation, although I do appreciate them being a fan because apparently they do listen a lot, or they must because they were making a lot of references, is if anybody's going to talk crazy, it's going to be me, not you.
I couldn't figure out, like, was he talking about because Verz got loose a couple of weeks ago?
I don't know.
But he kept saying, like, you don't give him any pushback. And I was like, what would Sautter give me pushback about?
Yeah. You go out of your way not to say anything bad about any high school kid. Out of your way.
That
I'm
thing
just
was,
here so I don't get fined. I'm just.
he is a great follow on social media, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Oh, he's amazing.
I'm just staring at that fire hydrant.
He likes Skittles. Hey, don't stay out the window. It'll make DB paranoid. You gotta be careful.
over there. Wow.
It does.
I go pull that.
I'm trying to help
my
you
yard.
out. I'm trying to help you.
Do you like passive aggressive, Ravi?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now.
Jerome, I'm
usually the one crazy here.
I'm just trying to I got my head on a swivel. Save it.
Hey, by the way, did you know that today, speaking of head on a swivel, is the anniversary of Mike Tyson biting Evander Holyfield's ear?
Yeah, I'm a big.
It's also the anniversary of our Bud Crawford knocking out Gamboa. Same day. Those two things happened.
That fight should have aged better on his notches belt than it has.
Remember that Holyfield fight? I watched. I mean, I was alive.
Yeah, I'm
old enough to be alive in 1997 to watch it.
With my buddy Brian Vecchio.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'll never forget that.
That was like peak Tyson zone. You know what the Tyson zone is?
This ought to be good.
No,
I saw that live too.
Did you?
HBO.
That's one of my low-key favorite fights of all time.
Sixth
Is
grade.
Douglas versus Tyson.
Was it?
I love that thing.
Again, another fight. I think I watched
sixth
that.
grade.
I wonder if he had the whole
I was in
pirate
sixth
cable
grade.
thing. Why did we watch fights at his house?
I watched. He probably
That Douglas Tyson thing was on actual real HBO. We had to go to my friend's house who had HBO because back then my parents, we weren't buying HBO back then.
Yeah.
Was it just your mom at the time, or
My
was
mom and dad? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't.
I had to catch
We
up.
barely had the basic cable, so we were struggling back then.
I was rocking network TV back then.
Can I get back?
That was the food pantry day. That was when we went to food pantries and stuff to eat. So true story. I'm not lying.
I know. We've talked about this on numerous occasions. It's why you're picky about your milk.
Yeah, very much so.
It's a powdered milk thing.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I grew up on powdered milk and Save Brand cornflakes, by the way, for those that didn't know.
Powdered milk is nasty.
Thanks, Shane.
I'm just saying.
It's a good contribution.
Say that again.
Powdered milk is nasty.
I like how this is
incredible.
I like how he plays the drop and then answers the drop that he played. Say it again. Powdered milk is nasty.
Powdered milk is nasty.
Like, what do you setting himself up over there?
Say that again.
Powdered milk is nasty.
I think at the end of the day, I'm the most upset with myself for allowing this. Like,
I mean, try and stop it next time. Good luck.
We are in a sports zone
but I started the hour
Mm-hmm.
way back at 7:00. I said, I feel like you're a little surly. I'm gonna be better about being a little more Pernell Whitaker and
moving your head a little bit,
just bob and weave a little bit, and I'm getting
like
murdered on the ropes.
You might have got your ear bit off today.
Well,
wow.
Can I get
hold on? Tyson zone, real quick. Okay, that's like peak Tyson zone. So there's this term. I think Bill Simmons came up with it.
I'm just chilling over
Where,
here.
like,
Don't mind me.
There was a time in which you could have seen a headline that said anything about Mike Tyson, and you would have believed it.
Yeah.
Like, there was no headline too crazy about Mike Tyson that you'd be like, no, that doesn't check out. Like that was peak Tyson. It was like, yep, bit a guy's ear off in a fight. You're like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Like Trump in the debate last night.
Yep,
that's right. Yeah, that's true.
I still was traumatized. One guy couldn't think straight, and I felt
Why
bad, and the other guy never told the truth. How does Biden function? But anyway, okay, I'm not going to do that. By the way, my guy B2 nailed it.
What's that?
He's like, look, man, you guys are bearing the lead. Ravi has friends? Question mark.
Oh,
a lot of them. Despite what you want everybody to believe, DB loves me. By the way,
you like how he just puts words in my mouth?
Loves is it?
Listen, there's like 6 people in this world that he trusts, and I'm one of them. Like, he may not love me, but like, I'm in the circle.
Not necessary evil.
I'm in the inner circle. That's all I know.
Jerome, how was 7?
I don't have any friends.
I got lots of friends. We can be friends, Mike.
Shit.
You don't like help add to my.
Remember when I used to be able to have control when I could do this and I could just so like this is a wrap. Like
Hello, friends.
Do you want me to start?
Where are we gonna at 7-on-7?
Do you want me to start counting my white friends too?
Wow.
Take longer. I went to Miller North. It's gonna take a minute.
Back in the day, Miller North's changed a little bit.
They have, yeah, no, but like 05, it was.
Oh, really?
It's a little more diverse. It's true.
I mean, Back then, it's become a lot.
First
more
of
diverse.
all, he's only 36. We're not talking about the civil rights movement.
No.
What does back then mean? You're talking 12 years.
That's 20. It's almost 20
years ago.
I'm in the process of helping to plan my 20-year reunion.
Back in the day.
Yeah, it's a lot. Listen,
Who's black, by the way?
black in the day?
Jesus.
Was that Art? That was. I know he's black too.
Michigan Lance
Wilder?
is black too. If you didn't know.
I did know that, but I didn't know that's who was talking to me.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I am in the room.
His kid's a lot taller
Hey.
than him. Hey, his kid Langston's a lot taller.
No, he's a good player too.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah.
I
wanted to help him. I wanted
wanted
him to
to
help
like-
us get some reps.
Well, you guys like transfers. I mean,
Well, I'm just saying Westside doesn't look like he used to either. I'm just putting, no shame. Like Hunter Salas wasn't on the
True.
team when I was at Miller North. There weren't a lot of Hunter Salas, St. Thomas, Jason Greens going on at Miller North.
No, it's changed.
Although shout out to Cole Solomon, who was a nice ball player in his own right.
It's changed.
Apparently, none of you guys watched Terrell Rose run the football at Miller North in the late 80s, early 90s.
No, that was a little before me.
I wasn't
Just a
living
touch.
here.
We did have
I was drinking powdered milk.
we had John Kimbrough, who was half, I think.
You can't say that.
Well, I'm half.
You clearly can't say that.
I'm half Indian.
Why?
I'm half Indian. That's fine. It's cool. We're all half of something.
Your eyes are watering.
Oh, I have a headache.
We had DJ Coleman. Do you remember DJ Coleman?
I remember.
Yes, I do remember.
He was a good ball player.
Of course.
Booger Coleman, remember him? Good wrestler.
No, of course. Like there was Keith Lloyd was good too. He wasn't black.
Oh, man.
Wow.
John McCardle, nice little. He wasn't running back. He was a good
He
ball
was
player.
not. He didn't look like Damon.
No, he didn't.
No.
Neither did DJ though. See?
No.
See? Kimbrough a little closer, a little bit. Wow. You all right?
I was 7-on-7.
Cliff played football too. My black friend Cliff, he played football. So did Jermaine.
Back in the day.
They were.
Jermaine will arrest you now. He's a cop.
You will, yeah.
I know Jermaine. You know Jermaine. Everybody knows Jermaine.
Jermaine's good dude.
Why do I have to know Jermaine?
I almost
I'm
said.
just saying, he's a good guy. Everybody knows it.
I almost crossed the line there. Whew.
Oh, wow.
You know, if I censored it, it was a little out there.
5 years.
Oh.
Hey, 7-on-7 was good though.
Yeah, who'd you watch?
Everybody. I mean,
Everybody.
Oh, you going back to last week or this
yeah,
week?
so we're talking. Oh, you're talking about Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, we can go back to last week because there
Last
was
week,
a lot.
yeah.
That was a good collection.
It was good.
You know who
You're welcome.
is really
You're
good?
welcome. Thank you.
It's gonna be pretty good.
You're welcome. I mean, thank you.
Who are we thinking?
I don't know. I'm the one that put it together.
You know-
It was good.
I don't.
You know who's gonna be pretty good?
Who?
I like that Purify kid.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
in-
Oh, for us?
Yeah,
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 he's tall.
Purify's really good.
You know who
We only
was?
had him like 5 days.
You know who the guy that stood out the most to me was Isaac Jensen, and he did maybe because I just saw them. I saw Millard West, Bellevue West on Wednesday passing league, the last passing league, but that dude catches everything.
You know what he's
good.
what he's added a little bit? He has a
Little
little
attitude.
How'd you know I was going to say that?
No, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
little like I'm the guy.
zero cares given.
Yeah, it's good.
He is
Kind of
good.
needed a little more attitude. He's way good.
Really
Talking about
good.
Isaac Jensen from Millard South, by the way.
Yeah.
Shout out Millard South.
You're over.
We love Miller South.
Oh my god.
Love him.
I do. I have
A lot of good players.
Full disclosure, I was the only guy the last 2 years that said I've never had a problem with Wisdom. I love
That
how
was
they've
great.
leaned into it. And Urban is a guy that would like call and say, "Hey man, best wishes or congratulations." Like my kid's been to his house,
There's
man.
no issue.
Like,
There ain't no issue.
I don't have any like you guys
That's
don't have
made
to
up.
sell
That's
you
made
guys
up
don't have
stuff.
to sell me just because
No, I'm not.
one guy lost his mind.
I would say that whatever tension there, that's all made up outside of, because if you actually talk to me and know who I talk to and the conversations that I have, that's all fake, made up drama stuff that's not real. So for me, anyway, and I know Damon, you've been very complimentary of Millard South this whole summer. But
really good.
For me, my true feel, like I know how I feel, and the people that need to know how I feel also. there's no issues there. Not with me. Nothing like
You know
that.
who looks
What's funny is the kids that the kids actually know too. So that's all I'll say.
You know who I actually really like and is bigger than I thought is Jet Tamala.
Yeah.
I do
really good ball placement. He's filled out a little bit too. Like I thought he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he was young, right? But his looks seems like he was a little skinny last year.
He just needs to be a little patient. Quarterback.
I do like him.
He's gonna put up a lot of numbers.
He's a really good ball player.
He's got a tremendous frame to stack on.
Seems like his temperament's pretty solid too. Like he's pretty level-headed.
Yeah,
like real level-headed,
pretty chill,
kind of like even keel.
And he took some tough coaching.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And when you've got like you were talking about like Isaac Jensen got a little more attitude. When you've got a lot of players around you, especially as a quarterback, somebody's got to be down to summer there, like Simadana.
Who else did you like? Because this was kind of new for you too. You saw Miller North, you saw Central.
I didn't like anybody on Miller North.
Well, they didn't have Vermont and Mooberry there either.
Oh, because you were Friday.
I was Friday. Yeah. Listen, I don't know them. I only saw them one game.
I watched them today. They're in North today.
That should be.
They had
good.
some work to do.
Yeah, North is good at what they do.
Southeast is over there.
I'll go with
Trumbull.
Would passing league suit Southeast?
He does it. I mean, they do it often enough.
I get it.
Yeah, I wasn't. There was nobody that I was like, oh yeah, I'm super excited about them. It's like, it's probably gonna take a little time.
Were you vibing with me that you like Central's intensity?
Yeah.
Like if they can keep that up.
I like Central. I don't know.
Keep it under wraps, right? Contained.
That's
if they keep competing like that,
right? Yeah. They're competitive.
They've got pieces.
Well, that's probably a little bit of the line that Millard South's gonna have to deal with too, right? Is like keeping the edge while keeping the lid on it too. Like when you've got personalities like that, it's sort of like a nuclear reaction. Like it's all great when it's putting off energy, but like you have to avoid a meltdown. And I think Central's a little bit like that. I think Millard South's a little bit like that. Like those teams that have that outward edge and lean into it, like you have to have somebody. That's why I like Jet Tamala's kind of demeanor a lot, is he seems like the guy that kind of keeps the lid on things and keeps it from spilling over a little bit. I don't know who that is for Central. I don't know. Maybe it's on the coaching staff. Maybe it's on the roster. I don't know.
I do like BJ's temperament though. They're Central's quarterback.
Yeah. And I only saw them once. I saw a little bit more Tamala.
The two teams that I invited on kind of on purpose: Columbus, Lakeview, and Central City. Central City. Now that's what they do, right? Coach Huber, he throws it around, and like that's the 7-on-7 is just his jam. But they put a little shot and scare into some people and some different teams. And Lakeview went 3-0 in their pool, and
they look good.
They lost one game.
They look good on the hoof.
They lost one game the whole 2 days.
I like their coach too.
Oh,
Big Frenzen guy.
Yeah. Everybody, if you don't like Kirk Frenzen, you probably
that's probably a you problem.
Yeah, that's
good dude.
That's going to be a you problem.
The other guy that I liked, and you'll have to remind me of his name, number 3 for you guys, the tight end type guy. Is it Luke?
No, probably Eli Johnson.
Eli.
He's going to have a huge year.
He's a good player.
He was really good. I was impressed with him.
Eli will have a huge year.
He's embracing doing more things too.
Yeah.
Like we got to find a home for him defensively, because I think a lot of these coaches now are figuring out there was this stretch where platooning is good, right? Obviously, if you can platoon, but sometimes your two-way go guys, they got to go 2 ways.
Yeah.
Well, you just have to condition accordingly.
The thing about him is you can put him outside, and you can put him in the slot end outside, and he can go get the ball.
So. He would give us some length at corner.
Right.
We're pretty good at outside linebacker with depth, so it probably wouldn't be there. But
corner.
Is he quick enough to play corner?
We can. I mean, there's plenty of coverages where we can protect him.
Okay.
I mean, if you can't,
like a big physical corner.
Yeah. We could put him to the boundary. Safety. We could play some 3. We could play some 2-man. Like, there's lots of things.
I wasn't questioning it just for being that.
I don't. Single? It's complicated for us.
Okay.
And if he plays such a big role offensively, I don't
want to
put him out there that
much.
Yeah.
It's
hard
that much. It's hard to play safety. If you're an outside or a safety, it's our defense is
challenging for you.
Yes.
They're demanding, maybe is the right word.
We do a lot.
I'm excited to see Millard South with linemen and stuff,
because that's the question mark.
No,
right?
I mean, if you look at it though, they got 3 guys that have Division I offers.
Does Glab have any offers yet?
There's some turnover there though, right?
The other day, defensive line they do.
Yeah. Okay, defensive line. They got some turnover.
They lost Miller and
Yeah, they
really.
You love Laquana.
Yeah, they were really good.
That was your guy.
But they have, now they got. I think they got some guys. They got guys with offers. So, the talent's there.
What about Papio South?
They were quarterback is good. Way better than
Bevy West. That wasn't what I expected.
Way better. Quarterback's way better than we thought or coming into it. Can't remember running back. Jones.
Little Jones.
Yeah, little brother. A lot different than Devin.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Built different.
Known him since
quicker, faster, more
grade.
open space guy.
Yeah,
they can find ways to get him the ball.
Tough too.
Yeah, up front's going to probably be there.
What about I got a chance to talk to Coach Burns. He was out there with Ron Colley.
Yeah.
They probably had the most turnover of
now,
and we had a ton, but we can kind of
there's no Dotzler and
Dotzler's
Rogers, Orrs. There's none of that left. So it's kind of different watching them, right?
How was Bellevue West and Millard South on Wednesday? Now that they both had seen each other.
No, they both did all right.
Or a couple days previous.
I thought
how's Will?
Okay. He made a really nice throw to Jermaine Green, like a shot. So
I wonder how much they'll run him. I would imagine quite a bit.
Well, yeah, I think so. Running back is still very much up for grabs.
Physically, he looks like a dude.
He's gotten bigger.
He's big. Mm-hmm. He's got good muscular development. I don't know.
Could be a little more consistent is all.
Accuracy was?
Yeah. But
be interesting. We'll see.
Underwear Olympics is finally over after today. So
God, we start team camp in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. You guys are about to get after it. It's coming faster than people think.
I can't believe we're in July.
After today, we'll be back
on Monday.
I think so. That's
good job to my brown and black friend.
That's Mike Sautter. You got to put us on the list. You got to make the list.
Thanks, Jerome.
Check it twice. We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Radio coming up next. Welcome back to Hurrdat Sports Radio, AM 590, ESPN Omaha, ESPN Tri-Cities. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We're also on KFOR in Lincoln. And we're brought to you by our friends at Union Omaha. Make sure you get out to unionomaha.com to get tickets to go see our friends over at Union. They've got a match coming up they've got a little break here, but August 3rd. It's never too early to get your tickets. It is the 7 p.m. Warner Park. There's a car show as well, and it's youth soccer night, and it's going to be followed by another Special Olympics Unified Series match. Get to unionomaha.com to check out everything they've got going on, and you can even buy some merch on there.
Merch.
I like a little bit of the Union Omaha merch.
Team merch.
I like the crest and the owl.
Yeah.
At unionomaha.com. Typically, I'm more of an elephant than an owl guy, but
I could see that.
Oh, really? Could you? Why is that?
Powerful. They don't forget.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's because of my recall. I see. Interesting.
Scared of mice, all that stuff.
I'm not scared of mice.
Oh.
I prefer there not be. See, I didn't count Art. We don't really know each other like that. I do like Art, though. Is Out of Breath Brian back? Is that what I'm seeing here? Shane?
Who? Oh, I'm scared.
Is that a yes or a no?
I think he's still there.
Okay. We got Out of Breath Brian here joining us. Let's talk about the Lakers. What's up, Brian?
Oh.
Well, hello, fellas. How you doing? Happy Friday.
Good. How you doing?
Well.
Well, yesterday I tried to watch a non-controversial moment on TV and watching sports. So I saw somebody get drafted, and I thought I would watch something less controversial, so I turned to CNN and watched that debacle. I don't know how Damon's feeling about it. Damon, is your cup loaded with some 40 proof to deal with this stuff today? That's all I want to know. Because this has got to be the most embarrassing moment in a Laker life, okay? Even more embarrassing than Snitchy Russell. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, does it give you any inspiration? Maybe you and your son to start doing Hurrdat Sports in a couple of years together? I don't know. This sets a new precedent that I don't even know what to even make of it. This is disturbing. Okay,
but so I looked at it like one of two ways. B. I was like, you know what? As a dad, he has the ability to do for his son. He's doing, and I'm not really mad at that. But the other thing was, do I really care about the 55th pick? You know what I mean? Like, no. I don't really. Can
I ask a question? Can you not care about
what haven't you said today? Fire away, Ravi. What would you like to ask me?
Can you not care about the 55th pick and still care about the principle that you shouldn't draft people that aren't NBA players, or that you don't even like that? Yes. Nobody. Like, can those two things both be true at the same time?
Well, I mean, I'm not ready to. I don't think he's NBA ready now. That's not to say he's not going to be an NBA player.
I feel pretty good that that's not going to happen.
Damon, I don't even feel that he is G League ready. I don't even feel that he's WNBA ready. I don't feel that he's any league ready.
The history of
any chance I get to pile on LeBron, I probably would. Just this time, I don't.
I'm just saying the history of 6'1" shooting guards making it in the NBA is not a long list.
I'm just not mad at a dad trying to put his son in a spot.
Even guys.
I'm just not. I can't get mad at that.
Dramatically more productive.
I tried, B. Like, of all the teams I cheer for, I don't run the gamut of emotions as much as I do with the Lakers. Like, I've never loved and hated the Steelers more, the Dodgers, none. Like, the Lakers drive me up the wall.
And I'm not mad at LeBron. I want to be clear about that. Like, if I'm LeBron, I try and do for my kid as well, right? Like, I get
you don't even like kids.
No, but if I had one, I'd try and help them out just so they stop leeching off me. Like, hey, start getting an NBA paycheck. I have to stop giving you an allowance.
Listen, Brian, this is the same dude that just told Sautter, we're just talking about potty training excursions, and Ravi goes, yeah, I'd be a terrible parent. I'd just get a hose.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Like, I'm pretty sure Yes, he said that.
And did they let you coach kids in basketball, Ravi?
Yeah, I didn't have to wipe anybody's ass in basketball, though.
Wow. Well, I just hope y'all jerseys just weren't white at the beginning of the game, because I'd hate to see those yellow markers in the halftime in the pants. Is all I'm saying.
I wasn't in charge of the laundry.
Wow. No, it's more embarrassing to me from the organization. I was like, man, this is. I didn't see y'all stretch out this hard for Kareem or Shaq, but this man got a make-believe championship, and we ready to bring his 4.8 scoring average son to the league or to the team. That's all I'm saying.
We can't even get the 17th pick of last year to contribute with Hood Schifino. Like, I'm not bad.
Just because you're bad at drafting doesn't excuse this.
Wow.
Yeah, Jenny. I think Jenny was better at picking the Lakers girls than she was picking the gym. That's all I got to say.
She ain't been right since her and Phil split.
Yeah.
You guys have a nice day.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Brian.
My mom says she thinks we need an intervention to save our jobs.
Well, I don't know if Bill's back in town yet, so he might not be listening.
Where is he? Utah?
No, I think
it's beyond saving.
I don't know.
Oh man!
I don't just like to put his location out there, you know.
No, I understand.
But I don't think it's Utah though. I think him and the wife took a trip.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
God, they get away a lot.
Good family time. Well, you got to see it's because he like that dude works more than anybody I know. So like, I feel like you have to.
I'm crazy. I'm tired.
So you gotta take breaks a little more frequently, right? You gotta unplug.
Oh,
like when you're running that thing in the red, you gotta like, hey, I need a little time. Ooh. I don't know anything about that. That's not how I operate, but
clearly,
I'm a leisure time guy.
Cute.
Clearly,
no, I think I actually work really hard, but I just act like I don't. Just try and make it casual.
I'm still recovering from Sauter's exit. That dude is hilarious.
I'm just saying.
Stop. Just stop.
I was coaching like high school and college kids. Like I didn't have to wipe any behinds. You know. Like that would have been a deal breaker for me if that was in the job description. I'd be like, pass. I was like, I will take less money for that to be not in my job description. Let's make that happen. I barely coached on court. Like after a while, I was like scouting and strength conditioning and stuff like that. Like I couldn't even deal with having to tell a kid to do a drill more than once, not much less like trying to teach them how to wipe themselves.
Why would you get into coaching if you were so impatient?
I told you this because I wanted to show people that my ideas about basketball were right. That's it. It had nothing to do with wanting to teach, which is why I was not very good at it. I'm really good at like the scouting and the tactician stuff, and I think I was really good at the strength and conditioning part as well. But like I'm not good at coaching. Like I've got a good mind for basketball, but like actually, like that's why Willie and I worked really great together. Black friend. He also only.
Of course, you guys met through sports.
That's only half though, I think. But I'm going to count him.
That's just.
And you know, he identifies as black. I try and respect.
Oh, now we're doing that. Huh?
I try and respect his choices.
Have you seen the dude on TikTok who he's a teacher and he has a student that identifies as step black?
No.
Oh.
Does he have a black stepdad or something?
Yes.
And so that's funny.
It's hilarious.
But no, so like Willie is a teacher at heart. So he was the head coach. So he was a really good fit with me because I had no interest in teaching whatsoever. So, but that's what he loved. Like he loved getting in the nitty gritty. So like him and I would have conversations and then he would go implement it to the team. I was not good with like the one-on-one because I'm impatient. I don't like kids that much. And, you know, kind of is what it is. But that's why I got into radio.
Noted.
You know, I liked it a little bit better.
Can I go back to something real quick?
Whatever you want.
With Filipowski.
It's your show.
I mean, clearly. I mean, can't you just tell how much control I have? Did you really believe that he was the best player in the draft?
I think he has a chance to become the most productive player in the draft.
Okay.
Again, talent and production, not the same thing. I think he could be the most productive player in the draft.
Good fit in Utah, too. Like, culture aside. No, see?
Seems
no,
like it.
No.
No, basketball-wise, it's a good fit.
It's a great fit.
And probably less culture shock than he would have had other places as well.
Just can't help yourself, can you?
I mean, reports are reports. I don't know what to tell you. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. I can't imagine this is going to get any less off the rails with Matt Vrzal, but he's coming up next.
Oh, Lord.
Welcome back as we wrap up the show here on a Friday, as we always do on Hurrdat Sports Radio with our guy, Matt Vrzal, former Husker, owner of Paisan's Pizzeria. What's up, Verz?
What's up, boys?
Matthew, how we doing, man?
And I am about to reel in this gentleman in front of me because he's choosing 12 miles an hour below the speed limit. So I may be in his back seat right now, pretty close anyway.
Okay, that's awesome. And a show that
I got laser focus, boys. Don't you worry. No accidents on there today.
On a show that has been nowhere near on the rails, we get one of the more unhinged guys to close it out.
Oh, you guys been prim and proper today?
Oh, heck no. I don't even know what happened. I'm just gonna go ahead and acknowledge I lost control about 7:07. Never got it back.
That seems late.
Never got it back. Guys, I missed you the other day. I had to come get some ham boiga, some grilled beef, and of course Zoe wanted some cheese pizza. Man, your guys were really good to her. Although your buddies were heckling me back there that I was picking fights, that was not the case. No, I'm glad you find humor in that. That's hilarious. That's
I'm just glad they fired at you. You remember when you first would come in and they were just petrified and they wouldn't talk to you?
Oh yeah.
And now you're part of the crew, part of the ship.
Dude, it's
that's really if you get dirt in the back kitchen at Paisan's and somebody finds out, you better be ready because you're gonna get it.
Well, I didn't realize.
Opportunity offender. We will get everybody.
Didn't realize you guys were so pro Millard South over there, man. That was kind of funny.
Well, you know, some of them are because you still got to give them their shirts.
Oh, I know.
Footy and Connor still owe you a shirt wearing.
Yep, definitely. After last time I was in there, they're definitely rocking the West Side gear. That's for sure. So how are things, man? Like, what's on your mind? Are you mad about anything today? We're doing all right.
I'm never mad. I just have observations.
You still love parents. How's that going for you?
You know, for me right now, it's pretty good. I just gonna sit back and watch.
Hey, so your guys last week in 7-on-7 at Scott, they were great. I
told you,
those guys are. Those guys
Van Dyke can spin it.
Yeah, those guys were. He was good, wasn't he?
Van Dyke was good. Yeah,
lefty.
Yeah,
like he kept them in it again. They jumped on us early. It was 10-0 before we knew what happened.
Then you got a heavy handshake to the ref, and away the Warriors went.
Wow. I didn't really talk to any officials.
That's not true. You're talking to the one guy.
Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was making fun
of me. We're on a first-name basis. Okay, got it.
Well, I used to coach his son in, like, 05.
Oh, yeah, we had barbecue the night before.
Hey, Ravi, why does it have to be barbecue?
It was the only black round.
Because barbecue is delicious. That's why.
Well played. Well, you guys.
That's why it's barbecue.
You guys are something else.
Don't try this, Benny. Hey, did you get the TikTok haircut that I sent you?
No, I did.
My guy with the spice bombs?
No, you're an idiot.
I sent it to you.
Spice bomb?
My For You page is banging right now on TikTok. I'm just telling you. I go home and laugh. It's a barber trick, and I'm guessing it probably just is something to hold the hair in place after he gets done with the cut because he just splashes. It must burn a little bit.
Just on a humbug, since he's racially insensitive. He's like, hey, does your barber ever spray paint your hairline? I was like, what? Yeah. Like, what are we talking about?
I just
Why is that racially insensitive? That's an honest question.
I just appreciate that Verz has the relationship with you that he can ask questions that he doesn't know the answers to.
Oh, is that what it was?
It does, it helps him because when your lines come in real tight, after you get done, I really have a higher appreciation for it because you won't take me to the barbershop, so I have to watch it on TikTok.
You're not taking Verz to the barbershop?
Verz, you're invited.
He doesn't want the black guys down there to like me.
I don't know what's in the water today. But apparently, you guys, I'm like the president of race relations. This show,
you just tried to bait me into saying that I couldn't. Don't say that.
Bait you into what?
You were trying to make something racial that wasn't racial.
Yeah, the barbecue.
I just asked why you picked that one. I just asked why you picked barbecue. You and I bonded.
Yeah, Ravi.
You and I. Oh, for once, you and I bonded over mushroom sticks. Like I got versatility in my food game.
Mushroom steaks?
Sticks.
Isn't it great when there's no sports going on and you just talk, have fun, and laugh?
The best.
No,
this is my favorite time of year, Verz.
I have a headache because my temples hurt.
Maybe you need hydration.
It's from all the laughter. How is that a bad thing?
It's just from trying to hold, just not overdo it. Because it's been utter ridiculousness.
But see, people like that. They like the human element. Like if you're dehydrated, you're probably ashy. You probably need some cocoa butter.
Ridiculous.
I don't even recognize what we're doing. How come you didn't? I invited you to come watch playing catch last week. I thought you may surprise me and show up.
I politely passed. I told you I watch football. I don't watch catch. I respectfully declined the invitation, but I said thank you.
It would have been nice to have you kind of spear on and champion your guys. Danzy was out there. I mean, it was a good, for the most part, it was a good time.
You'll find, Bud, and you know this about me, I don't go to things where I'm going to be disappointed in humans. And I think 7-on-7, it's why I hate 7-on-7 and AAU so much, because it creates an environment where a kid that, and I'm not saying anything bad against a kid that's going to try to show up another kid is going to get something that's going to escalate, and then you get a dumb parent that thinks that they need to live through their child when they've ruined their opportunity. I'm sorry you're not an NFL Hall of Famer, but it just didn't work out. And I'm sure some coach in junior high or high school screwed you. But then, I've seen them, and I go to them, and then I just get mad, and I get disappointed in people, and I just don't want to put myself in that spot. Now, from what I hear, I might need to roll in as protection, but maybe that. You call me when it's almost over.
Yeah, I could have used some backup there, Verse.
Hey,
really?
And listen, you know that Grand Island blood comes out. In the words of my guy Ted Wright, the best punch is the one they never saw coming. So I fight that way.
You don't want to mess with the 308.
Never do. If you do, just know.
Did I strike you?
But no, so that's why I don't. That's why I don't. You didn't need protection. I was just being funny.
No,
I'm hilarious.
I have a different word for it, but I'm sure people will text you and tell you how much they laughed, and you'll count the numbers.
I was just trying to make sure everybody.
That was just that one day when we got 400 laughs. We made 400 people's day better, Damon.
Now the number's up about 250.
Hey, that's great though.
But no, it was 300. It was 300, and then I got some more.
Well, you got some late text, and that's good.
But that's why I don't go to them. I know. Like a receiver makes a catch, and it's a great catch, and then you get up and you pat a kid on the head, and I'm just like, that's just the next one when you go and you drop the ball. Now he's going to want to show you up, and then you're just escalating a situation. And if you just make a great catch, stick your hand out, say, "Hey, dog, good coverage. We'll get it. We'll do it again in another rep." Like the respect factor of them sometimes is. I wish it was higher in those things.
Well, we've kind of put this a lot of. Especially with AAU, I don't know. I guess it's some with 7-on-7, although I don't think I saw any coaches out there in terms of colleges. But we put so much pressure on these, what otherwise would be low leverage situations in terms of recruiting pressure and all that kind of stuff. That I do think. Now, listen, the kids have to take some level of personal responsibility, but I do think we have put unnecessary stakes on something that sort of, like you said, escalate situations to the point where they shouldn't be.
No. I'll argue the other way. I think you've ruined the game by making that because, as Damon says, pressure is earned. But now you're making it where guys can pay to get on a team that they probably don't belong on. And then they think they are the shine. They think they are the show when they are not the show. And then you get the whole flow of the game because some beatnik who paid $8,000 for an AAU team is chucking up threes from the logo, breaking backboards and delaying games.
Wait,
I don't. Pressure is earned. It's like they said, but we sell kids a bill of goods, and we sell weak parents a bill of goods. Go to this academy. Get on this. No. Like, there's great coaches all over. Like, get coached. Like, understand fundamentals, team, all that stuff. Like, watch how you, I hate to bring them up because I bring them up a lot, but I like how they do it, but watch UConn play. UConn players have full autonomy in that system once they master the basics. Master the basics, do whatever you want. They do like in and out weaves, like figure eight weaves like we did in junior high for their warm-up. They're doing spider dribbles and the basics. But man, they're a good team. I'd rather play on that good team than some of this crap you see out there.
That's Matt Vrzal, former Husker owner of Pison's Pizzeria. Verz, we appreciate it as always. You stay safe driving out there. I know it gets a little dicey sometimes.
What? 15 mile an hour.
Damon.
Yes, Matt.
Just accept the fact that I will always have your back.
I got you, man. No problem. I appreciate that.
I know you don't need the help. I know you're the toughest guy in Omaha.
Hey, I wish. That'd be sweet.
I will always be.
Crawford will tell me otherwise. See you, buddy.
Yeah, I think Bud might have that title. That's all right, though. As DB, I'm Ravi. Lulla. This has been another week of Hurrdat Sports Radio. We'll be back on Monday.